560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents the Neil Rogers Show.
Okay.
Talk to Neil. Call 567-0560. Toll free for Dade and Broward. Or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I wouldn't believe a word Neil said if his tongue was notarized.
Oh! Thanks for burying me. Those bad jokes that I said, my eyes that turned all red. I'm on the road with Bing again, except this time I'm dead. Please don't say over me. But I want to tell you, thanks for burying me. That cheesy old man smell at Dolores' house as well. And those lousy shows that I did at the Fountain Blue Hotel with Anita Ekberg. And I want to gurgle.
Oi!
Wow, is this overhead? I guess it's okay. Is my ears being plugged up? Man, I feel like crap. My head is all plugged with crap. That's just a little head cold. Nothing bad, little head cold. But I'll survive because it's very, very urgent. It's extremely important that I'm here to, Well, it's either me or that goddamn tape of the Pope and the Cubans again. God almighty. Wouldn't it be great if we had more than one tape? I think after three years plus we'd have more than one best of tape. Have we got more than one best of tape? No. Same thing over and over again. So Bob Hope is dead, and now Steve Allen. Now, Steve Allen was like my hero, my childhood hero. He was the funniest man who was ever on TV. Unfortunately, and nobody really wants to say this, because you're not supposed to say bad things about dead people, but I will anyway. Unfortunately, in his last few years, he became like a little, like that, with those big full-page ads that he was taking out in newspapers all over the country with his own money. At least he was spreading the money around, putting it into the economy. Because here's a man who was always a champion of great liberal causes, who decried what he called the dumbing down of America, right in line with my thinking, but also who was in favor of censorship, because he became an old fuddy-duddy. Here's a guy that started on the cutting edge of comedy in television. Cutting edge. Wild, wacky, irreverent. Helped like Lenny Bruce. Now, see, I don't understand that. How could a guy put Lenny Bruce on the air and be for censorship? I don't understand any of that. But I guess as you get a little bit older and your retina starts dribbling down your chin, sometimes, But anyway, Steve Allen's dead. Very, very sad. And what's even sadder is that Larry last night, you know Larry, was snapping his suspenders, had a panel of old people on there. I mean, real old. He had Ed McMahon, Carl Reiner, Mike Douglas, who looks like he's been embalmed for 20 years. And I'm trying to think who else was on there. And they all, when he brought up the thing with the newspaper ads, and just by coincidence, there was a full-page ad. We've all seen him. Steve Allen with the censorship thing, and write the sponsors, and it's a moral sewer and all. And naturally, they all agreed that it was a great cause, and they agreed with him. And, of course, all of these men are over the age of 100. Now, Carl Reiner, I'm really shocked and dismayed at, because Carl Reiner being the great liberal, and his son Rob Reiner, meathead, one of the great champions of every liberal cause that comes down the pike. And hear what they're really doing, because they don't want to say anything negative about Steve now that he's dead. Oh, Steve Lawrence was also on there. Remember Steve Lawrence? You don't know who Steve Lawrence is?
I mean, I've heard the name, and I probably...
Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. Did you put the two of them together like that? Does that ring a bell? Steve and Edie?
Rings a bell.
Huh? Not too heavy, though, huh? Anybody in this audience know who Steve Lawrence is?
No.
His brother, by the way, used to be, I'm sure he must not be anymore, Hank would know him. His brother ran the elevator, the press elevator at Gulfstream Park for years and years. I don't know if I think he died. Pretty sure he died. Or maybe not. I don't know. I think he died. But he was the elevator operator. And when you go up to the press box, when you have one little press pin, you go up to the press box there, oh, hey, Neil, how are you, Mr. Rogers? I'm Steve Lawrence's brother. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He always make a point of telling you he was Steve Lawrence's brother. Oh, what's wrong with that? Not everybody can be Steve Lawrence's brother. Running the press elevator at Gulfstream Park. Hey, listen, some people just don't like to spread it around. That's the way it goes, Steve. Well, let's see. We got good news and bad news on this election coming up. First, let's take a look at that poll yesterday. Here's some real good news. Are you going to vote next Tuesday? 813 people responded. 641 said, are they going to vote next Tuesday? Yeah! 78.8% in this crowd, they're voting. This is the voting crowd. See, the non-voting crowd, most of them are gone anyway because I've been talking about this same crap for weeks on end now. And you know something? Do I apologize for it? No, I'm glad I'm talking about it. I'm pleased as punch, as Hubert Humphrey would say, except he's dead too. He would say that, though. Pleased as punch to be talking about this. Making a lot of sense. 86 people said no, 10.5%. They're registered, but they're not voting. And people not registered, also 86, 10.5%. But that's pretty good, though, almost 80% in this crowd when you figure they're saying probably under 50% nationwide will be voting again. And turnout is the key. That's going to decide the election. It's as tight as a witch's rectum armpit. I mean, it's tight. Now, the latest MSNBC, Reuters, Zogby state tracking polls are very promising for Gore. The national poll was promising for Bush. Because as of right now, this moment, the very latest MSNBC poll shows Bush 46, Gore 41, Nader 4, Buchanan 1. And Fudge Brown 1. The Libertarian, Fudge Harry Brown. 46-41, so Gore's actually inching away popular vote nationwide. But you've got to keep in mind, he's ahead in a zillion states. Wyoming, and North Dakota, and Oklahoma, and all of these grotesque places. That Rocky Mountain, that thing. That belt of Yahoo places. Idaho. Montana. What else is up to there? That's about it. That's Arizona. Arizona, where every right-wing quack, all the right-wing quacks that they kick out of Orange County in California, they all go to Arizona. Just ask John McCain, he'll tell you. But the statewide polls, according to, and this is again the very latest, I know there's a one LA Times poll that are very suspect that shows Bush 4 points ahead in Florida, but nobody believes it. Gore is up 12 points, 51-39 in the very latest MSNBC tracking poll. Illinois, Gore up 6. Pennsylvania is up 4 points now after trailing by 3. Michigan, Gore up 2, but that one is, it's razor tight. Wisconsin up 12, which must mean that some of the native people are coming back home. Uh-huh. In Tennessee, Bush's lead is down to only 3 points after being up 11, and Gore's going to be this coming weekend in his home state to try to nail down those yahoos in Tennessee. Get them out of Andy Jackson's cave and say, come into the real world and stop being a bunch of Neanderthals. And I'm looking at the electoral votes just of those 5 states that I just mentioned, forgetting about Tennessee. Just the Florida, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, forgetting about Minnesota and Iowa, Arkansas, Washington, Oregon, forgetting about them. If Gore won those 5, Florida, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, he wins the election. That gives him 281 electoral votes, 11 more than he would need. So there's definitely a possibility that, I think I had it the wrong way. It looks to me now, if we do have a disparity between the popular vote and the electoral vote, it looks like Bush could win the popular vote, and Gore could win the election with the electoral votes. What do you think about that? Here's our poll question for today, Eric. Is Joe Lieberman an asset or a liability to Al Gore? And you have 3 choices. Asset. That means like a positive, okay, for you idiots out there. Is he an asset, a liability, or he makes no difference? Joe Lieberman. Mr. Mealy Mouth. Mr. I'm busy sucking up to everybody I can, and they all live on my street. They're all my neighbors in Connecticut. 9 minutes after 10 at 560 WQM, your flu station for the 90s. By the way, the Panther team, the excuse now is before the game tonight, they'll have the flu. Pavel, he's sniffling a little bit. Got the flu. Playing the Islanders, a girls team, but we got the flu, so it was mine not. But come on out. We got lots of room for you tonight. 6,500 empty seats. Wow. Woo. Kind of embarrassing.
Uh-huh.
Now, that thing about Hank, can I say that on here? Does he know about that yet, or is that a secret?
I don't know. I'll find out.
Okay, I better not say it then. Well, we'll just, you can call Hank and tell him to turn off the radio if I say. No, it's something good.
No portion of this program may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM Beasley Broadcast Group, Incorporated.
Get the Hoover out the moon, man.
I just love to feed the ducks at the park, but lately I've been suffering from hemorrhoidal itching.
I bought some cream, but the directions weren't clear where to put it.
Ass crack!
I know. I've been suffering from the same problem. And even though the tube has an applicator, I wasn't sure whether to apply it to my front side or my back side.
Ass crack!
Oh, well, I guess I'll just have to call and bother my pharmacist again.
Ass crack!
The next time you're suffering from hemorrhoidal flare-up, listen to the duck. Who would know more about their backside than a duck? Because after all, have you ever seen a duck with hemorrhoids?
10:14 at 560 WQAM. So Hank won, what award is it? The Lifetime Achievement Award from the, who is it? Air Awards. But what is their name? Lifetime Air Award Achievement, but there's a name. This is not the Women in Broadcasting thing, is it?
No, I don't think so. And if you had waited until we had the information up here, it's on its way right now.
Well, what do you mean if I would have waited? We got almost 4 hours.
It'll be here
Is
momentarily.
it like some kind of an emergency? I'm sure Hank is already well aware that he isn't Hank aware that he won.
I do not know that.
Well, if he's not aware, let's hear it for the humper, baby. Nice one here, Hank. Lifetime achievement. In fact, I think anybody that survives as many years on the air as he and I both have been here should get some kind of recognition, some kind of a special tchotchke, something. Nice going, Hank. We'll have all the info. What did I just have here that I think Schmidt came? Oh, this fax is very interesting. Because it says, contrary to what Al Goldstein said yesterday, and the fact that we did not get that anticipated and much hoped-for call from Larry Flint, who evidently was not out of his temporary coma yet, it says, people who follow the news know that Larry Flint, no matter what you think of him, has a perfect record when it comes to exposing the sexual foibles of hypocritical office holders. He's never been wrong yet. That's what this says. And this is off, again, it's off the internet, so who knows that I just got off the fax machine. But that being the case, evidently, if there is substance to that story, they just weren't able to get her to spill the beans. But we got plenty of other stuff. We got the Boston Globe story, which broke today, and I've got it right in front of me for a little bit later. Questions remain on Bush's service as guard pilot. Not just the imagination of Paul Begala or anybody else, but these are legitimate questions, since so many people are talking about character and honesty and integrity and all of this other crap. Well, guess what? This man. And then, of course, we've got the great article by Molly Ivins, my very favorite, in the Herald op-ed page this morning, about Bush and the hate crime bill. And then I'll also read that before we're done. Lots of reading to do with my bad throat today. And about the real reason that they didn't want the Republicans, and Bush in particular, refused to sign the hate crime bill in Texas was because it included gays and lesbians. So any fags out there, all you log cabin Republicans, you better put your log away next Tuesday, for at least long enough to punch the thing for Gore. Because a vote for Bush is a vote for your self-destruction. I'm telling you that right now, whether you want to believe it or not. Here's a lady in Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear you say that Bob Hope is dead, too? Because he played Thanks for the Memory, which is Bob Hope's song.
Yeah.
Instead of could be the start of something new, which is Steve Allen.
Have you been sleeping for a while? Bob Hope died some time ago.
When? How long ago?
How many weeks ago was that, Joe? How many weeks ago did Bob Hope die?
Oh, I have no idea.
A couple months?
Oh, my God, I didn't know that. I was up in Gainesville for a while, but I thought they had newspapers or television news up there.
If you saw any pictures of him the last year or two that he was living, I'm sure you would agree with me.
Well, he seemed more dead than alive,
right,
but I didn't know he actually passed away.
He and Steve Allen are entertaining together now.
Oh, I had to check and find out.
They're entertaining on that big TV screen in the sky.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Steve Allen's major song was, this could be the start of something new.
Yeah, he wrote that.
Yes, he did. Anyway, thank you for the information. I feel like I've been out of the country or something.
And I'll bet you know Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
I know of them. I don't know them personally.
I don't mean personally, but you know who they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank God for you. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you.
See, you got to be old like us, Joe. Since my birthday's coming on Sunday, I'm going to be 58.
Oh,
boy, approaching that big 6-0.
Don't worry, I'm getting there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on it.
Punk. The March of Dimes. The March of freaking Dimes. I don't understand. How come we still have a March of Dimes? Do we still have polio?
No.
Not very much. Isn't that what the March of Dimes was for? Was for polio?
I thought it was for, muscular dystrophy or something.
No, of course not. That's Jerry's kids.
Multiple
sclerosis? No. Anyway, the March of Dimes and its board of governors are pleased to announce that Hank Goldberg is the recipient of this year's Excellence in Radio Award. Mr. Goldberg will be recognized for this honor at the 2000 South Florida Achievement in Radio Awards being held at the Sheraton Airport Hotel in Dania, December 5th, 2000. Previous recipients of this honor include Bob Gaynor of Miami-Dade Public Schools. Anybody ever hear of him?
No.
I've heard of Gloria Gaynor. Rick Shaw. Good old Rick Shaw. I bet he's listening right now.
It's a lie. I am not a Nazi.
Of Magic FM, and of course formerly of Waxy and formerly of QAM many years ago, about 70, 80 years ago. And like I said, Rick, wash that cap, please. It's starting to walk around on its own. Jerry Russian of WEDR. He'd be the best. Robert W. Walker of Walker Fitzgibbon, and David Ross of Clear Channel Broadcast. Now, see, we were going along okay till we got to David Ross, and I'm sure Hank is probably embarrassed to be lumped into a group that includes David Ross of Cheap Channel Broadcast. The Air Award, sponsored by the Ford Motor Company. Would I drive a Ford?
No.
No way. Boy, Associated Press, Arbitron, Metro Network, Shadow Broadcasting, Westwood One is a broadcast competition that seeks to recognize excellence in local radio, which is the medium created with establishing the name, what is it? The name of the March of Dimes. I don't understand that. In the late 1930s, Eddie Cantor. Remember Eddie Cantor? Of course you don't. Joe's got no idea who that is. Eddie Cantor, radio announcer and friend of President Roosevelt, made appeals on national radio for Americans to send their dimes in the White House to help find a cure for polio. See, I told you, smarty pants. In just 9 days, millions of dimes poured in, prompting Cantor to call it a virtual March of Dimes. In addition to honoring Mr. Goldberg, categories for 2000 include Best Morning Music Show, Best Student Talent, Best Station Event, Best Commercial Spot by an Agency, Best Newscaster. Oh, that's got to go to, what's his name? Lenny Martez. Yeah, Best Newscaster. And Best Sports Coverage, Best Public Service Announcement, and many more. I think it'd be funny if Best Producer went to, like, Pat from the morning show. I bet you Joe Rose would be pissed off about that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was funny because Bluff came back from vacation this morning, and first thing he encounters in the hall, because I heard him squealing out there, "It's a fight, Greg, it's a fight!" Because Pat, the morning producer, and Joe Rose, who hate each other like poison, were screaming and carrying on almost on the verge of blows in the hallway, if I can say. Can I say that?
No.
Almost on the verge of fisticuffs, which wouldn't be a very fair fight, seeing as Joe Rose is 7'5" and Pat's comes up to his kneecap. Kick in the knee, Pat. So I guess in addition to your great disdain for, I don't want to say it. She'll get upset. Carlos. By the way, speaking of Carlos, I understand she was dressed up for Halloween last night, but nobody could tell. But anyway, in addition to Joe Costello's tremendous disdain for poor Carlos, who's on an awful morning show on a great morning show on Power 96, I guess he also is starting to develop a great disdain for Joe Rose, too, seeing as how you're pretty tight with Pat. Dude, that's one of those deals where you can't be neutral. You have to be on one side or the other.
I can be neutral.
But, yeah,
I don't mind the little dog. He's fine. They interviewed a race guy today.
That's the only reason you're saying that. And why don't you tell him what a bad interview it was?
No, it was okay.
Was it okay?
Joe Rose is like very.
Did he ask him how he was doing with the ladies? Did he ask that? How you doing with the ladies?
Probably did. I don't know.
I don't think it's the question that bothers me so much as the way he says it. You know? How you doing with the ladies? Oh. He asked me, I came in this morning, he and Defo were sitting on their act doing one of their 20-minute commercial breaks in there, and he asked me that. How you doing with the ladies? And it just made my skin crawl. So anyway, March of Dimes, I have no idea why they're still around. I thought Jonas Salk, didn't we have the polio vaccine? Did we pretty much eliminate polio? I think so. But, they got to do something, I guess, so they're giving out radio awards. And let's hear it for Big Fat Hank, okay? Go on there, Humper. I'm sure he's probably, during the course of his career, no, I don't want to say it. I was going to say probably had awards that were more significant. You know what I'm saying? And before he's finished, we'll encounter things that are more meaningful than the March of Dimes Air Awards, the Hot Air Awards. But, hey, it's something to put on your resume. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Hank, how are you?
Hank?
Just kidding, Neil. Listen, I want to make a factual...
You're supposed to congratulate me on my award, then.
Oh, well, congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much.
I want to state a factual statement to all the women listeners out there.
Yes?
That they ought to understand what is happening in this election. There's a reason why George Bush is avoiding the abortion issue in all talk. Because it is part of their platform.
Yes.
It is part of their platform. And make no mistake about it, women, if you vote for George Bush, You are now conceding to men that you can no longer decide what is best for yourselves, that men are now going to have to make the decisions for you because you are decided that you cannot make those decisions for yourself.
That's correct.
A vote for Bush.
You're turning your body over to Bush.
That's right. It is a vote for saying men are superior-minded than you. That is what you are saying, women. Understand that clear and concisely. And a vote for Nader is a vote for Bush, and a vote for Bush is a vote for stupidity.
Amen.
Have a nice day, Neil.
Well said, sir. Nice going. He's a little worked up. Bob Hope is still alive? Who told you that?
I called Eric and had him do a research project on the net. Bob Hope is still alive.
I would swear that he died.
I thought so too.
Bob Hope is still alive? Come on.
Eric's going to fax you some information in a moment.
Did I just dream it?
I remember him being very close.
Like right on the edge. Right on the edge. And I remember that book about, did that bit that I played at the beginning of the show today, just when it looked like it was like the baby. Come on, he's dead. Bob Hope is still alive? He's 174 years old. He looks like he's been dead for the last 20 years. He's got a new ear growing where his nose used to be. That's ski nose. He's got an ear there now. Probably ate too much of that genetically grown corn. That's the problem. Yeah. That's what's going to start happening when you people start having babies out there, and you're going to wind up with an ear growing out of their forehead and extra fingers growing out of their ass. That's because they're probably being, you were fed that genetically grown corn. Yeah.
Didn't make me super tall or anything like Shaq.
Bob Hope is still alive. No wonder she was so shocked, that nice lady that called before. Well, maybe, Steve Allen died yesterday. Maybe I'm prescient, because I do have great psychic abilities.
No offense, but if he dies tomorrow,
I have to take the blame for it. The fact that he's 195 now, that's not the reason. It's because Neil said it. It's always Neil's fault, no matter what it is. If somebody's got a bad bowel movement, it's my fault. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing?
All right.
Okay, I'm one of your many black listeners.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I work at a retirement residence, and a lot of hello?
Yes.
And a lot of our residents get a lot of absentee ballots. And most of them can't see.
Right.
So what do you think I should do? You think I should?
I think you should lend them a helping hand.
You think I should punch that?
I think you should punch that Gore hole.
Oh, you think the Gore hole?
You have a choice. You can punch the Gore hole or the asshole.
Well, can I call someone a colostomy bag?
Go ahead.
Jeff Gardner, you're a wretched cornfield.
Okay, get out of here. Go punch. When in doubt, punch him out. Darky. 5670560 pound. Bob Hope is still alive. I would have sworn he was dead.
Some guy just said he just had a birthday, and they wheeled him out, and he waved.
Get out of here. He waved? He was right on the very edge. Don't you remember?
The man is 105 years old or something.
205. And he's still alive. God, he's better than Don Corleone. Yeah, we hit him with 5 shots, and he's still alive. And Bob Hope, still alive. I'm shocked. I'm in total shock. No, because I played the bit, and I'm thinking to myself, it goes to show you how easy I'm influenced. 27 after 10 at 560 WQ. And don't forget Rick Weaver with that Dolphin broadcast this weekend. 10:31 at 560 WQ. And our poll so far is Joe Lieberman an asset or a liability to Al Gore? Oh, he's still in town, by the way. If Joe Lieberman's listening,
he's an asshole.
Yeah, you make me sick. Joe Lieberman. And I'm a lot more Jewish than you. I guarantee you I've eaten a lot more kishke than you'll ever eat, mister. Without walking around with it on my sleeve. And there's nothing worse than a guy walking around with kishke on his sleeve. Anyway, 54 votes. 21 say he's a liability. 21 say he makes no difference. And only 12 say he's an asset. I guess if I would have put asshole, I guess that would have won too. But we already did that one before. That would have probably been the way to do it. Asset or asshole. But we'll just keep it the way it is. Let's try to keep it on the up and up here. And make it look like we're real respectable here. See, one thing about this show, we don't win any awards from anybody because this is not a respectable show. And Steve Allen would not have liked this show. Too bad. He's dead. Now, Bob Hope, I don't know if he'd like the show or not. Probably, maybe if somebody told him what I'm saying. Now, if somebody told you he's 89, he's got to be more than... If he's 89, he's the worst-looking 89 I've ever seen in my life. He could pass easy for Methuselah. He's got to be over 100.
Well, someone called and said he's 89, but Eric looked it up and said he was born in 1905.
Which would make him 95.
Right.
Yeah, that's more like it. I knew he's close to 100. Now, George Burns
is dead.
He's still dead, but he was around 100, wasn't he? Didn't he make his 100th? I do believe.
I believe 101, maybe.
Yeah.
He made it.
And even at 101, well, of course, it's only 5 or 6 years difference. But Bob Hope, of course, he made all those long trips, and visit the troops, so that must have been what did it. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to know who you gonna vote for.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Go back in the box, Julio. Go back to the cockfights. Get out of our face. Here's the mobile in Cooper City. Hello. Mobile in Cooper City.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I'm right here on my cell phone.
Okay, I hear you. And? What is it, sir? Speak.
Neil.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I'm fading out.
Okay. Oh, that must have been Bob Hope.
He's older now. He was actually born in 1903.
He's getting older by the minute based on the information you're passing on, so now he's 97. By 11 o'clock, he's going to be 130. And by noon, he may be... Oh, well, I don't want to say it. I don't want to give him a canary, as they say. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Yeah, I was going to say he was either 97 or 98.
Yeah.
He just had a birthday in Palm Springs, and they had a big party.
He's dead. Come on, you people. This is like wiping from the back to the front. You people
he had a big party in which he sort of attended. They wheeled him out in his wheelchair.
Yeah.
His wife was dabbling drool from him, and he kind of looked out at the crowd, and you could see, like, they had no idea where he was or anything like that. He couldn't speak. He's become a geriatric invalid. But he's got a lot of money, and they can keep him alive.
Well, that's great. Somebody's paying for it.
By the way, it looks like Broward and Palm Beach County could tilt this state for Gore.
Let me say it again. Gore is up by 12 points in Florida in the latest MSNBC Zogby poll. He's up by 12, 51 to 39 points.
And I would say to all of the Bush supporters out there, what does it tell you when his own brother is lukewarm for him? Jeb didn't even campaign for his brother.
His own brother's more lukewarm than Bob Hope.
God, yeah.
Okay, have a great day. Oh, and somebody's faxing me the complete Bushisms, which I wish you wouldn't waste all of my fax paper, but I guess you're going to do it anyway, because I've already got all these. I've got more goddamn Bushes than you can shake your damn thing at. 13 pages he's faxing me of this dreck. Anyway, getting to something important. Questions remain on Bush's service as guard pilot. This in the Boston Globe today. For Vice President Al Gore, the character issue is like chewing gum stuck to the sole of his shoe. Hardly a day passes without Republicans challenging Gore's character, especially his storied tendency to embellish facts. But Democrats are crying foul, saying that Bush has overstated his own record with far less political consequence. Belatedly, they're calling attention to misleading claims Bush and his campaign have made about his Vietnam-era service as a fighter pilot with the Texas Air National Guard, and documents that contradict Bush's insistence that he attended required drills in Alabama and Texas in 1972 and 73. 5 months after the Globe first reported those discrepancies, Bush's biography on his presidential campaign website remains unchanged, stating that he served as pilot in the Texas Guard from 1968 to 73. In fact, Bush only flew with the 111th Fighter Interceptor Squadron at Ellington Field in Houston from June 1970 until April of 72. That month he ceased flying altogether, 2 years before his military commitment ended, an unusual step that has left some veteran fighter pilots puzzled. In Alabama, a group of Vietnam veterans recently offered a $1,000 reward for anyone who can verify Bush's claim that he performed service at a Montgomery Air Guard unit in 1972 when Bush was temporarily in Alabama working on a political campaign. So far, nobody has come forward. The reward is now up to $3,500. Still nobody's come forward. What's more, a Bush campaign spokesman acknowledged last week that he knows of no witnesses who can attest to Bush's attendance at drills after he returned to Houston in late 1972 and before his early release from the Guard in September 1973. I could read the whole thing, but it's too long. But some of the important points: the evidence is strong that political influence got Bush into the Guard when the alternative was the draft or an enlistment. The mystery is whether political clout accounts for Bush's abbreviated career as a Guard pilot. The official record that chronologically lists Bush's service includes no evidence of service between May of 1972 and October 1 of 1973, the official date of his discharge. He was kind of wandering around on a drunken, whatever he was doing. And this is the man who's talking about character and honesty and integrity, who's also got his substance abuse problem, which we only know part of, and the rest he refuses to answer the question. That's character and integrity and honesty?
No.
I don't think so. And then we'll get to Molly Ivan's article, too, about more lies. About the hate crimes bill in Texas, which in the first debate, first he said that they did pass it with his help. And although we do have a law, turns out the law they do have is a watered-down RICO law that they were barely able to get through the legislature there that when Governor Ann Richards was in, long before he became governor. We'll get to that for this good, upstanding bozo. 22 before 11 at 560 WQM.
Tonight on Fox. Lock up the bagels and cream cheese and prepare for a wild ride when Fox presents When Jews Attack. Sponsored by the Committee to Elect George W. Bush and by KFC, where you can get the new GOP Bucket. The GOP Bucket is all white meat, right wings, and only $29.95. When Jews Attack. Tonight on Fox.
10:42, so we just double-checked. Bob Hope still is alive and Joe Roy still is an asshole.
He's got a big heart on.
Well, that's beside the point. So what are we getting for lunch today? I shouldn't have said that. Like, wait, after that was bad. Bad timing. What are we doing for lunch?
I'm ready, whatever you want.
I am, too. I got to have something to see. Eat. Now, how does it go? Starve a fever, feed a cold. Isn't that how it goes? Feed a cold, starve a fever.
I don't know that.
Well, if not, I like it that way. Or if I had a fever, I'd say feed a fever. Huh? Yeah, feed a cold, starve a fever. You never heard that either? You don't know who Steve Lawrence is, and you never heard feed a cold, starve a fever.
No, I've heard that. There's a ton of those, though. You're supposed to sweat out a cold. You're supposed to do all that crap.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in terms of food, in terms of rationalizing why we're eating. Feed a cold. No, you're hungry. I got a cold, and I'm all stuffed up. And if you eat, it like opens up all the passage. Your, like George W. says, your nasal passages.
They call Jeff.
Yeah, call up Ponytail. See if he knows about nasal passages. He knows about that too. No, he takes too long, doesn't he?
Not if he's got his motorcycle.
Okay, he's not riding a Vespa, I hope. George, you know what George will think about that.
He's gay.
Only Mary Cohen rides a Vespa. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I'm a little incoherent today with this head cold, but we're plowing right ahead, baby. 90 votes in our poll. Is Joe Lieberman an asset or a liability to Al Gore? 39 say liability. 29, no difference. 22 say asset. It means we got 22 old Jews out there.
Boy.
That must be what that is. Because nobody with a brain in their head would say he's an asset. I'll say it again. You notice they keep Cheney, he's in the lockbox somewhere. They got him shut up as tight as a drum. You don't see hide nor hair of him. But Lieberman, in fact, he was on last night after this big tribute to Steve Allen on the Kingmeister. Here we go with Joe Lieberman again. Again. Oh, I love you, Larry. I love you and your family, and happy Isukas, and it was pathetic. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Good, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. Bush graduated from Ivy League Yale, the top school in this country.
He got a gentleman.
Flunked out of Vanderbilt.
No, he did not flunk out from anywhere. We went through that yesterday, sir. You're reading propaganda again. Here we go. He graduated from Yale, one of the top schools in the country. He got a gentleman's fee. They eased him through, just like they eased him through the military, and he vanished for a year. Just like they eased him into the ownership of the Texas Rangers after he failed in the oil business. Just keep reinventing the truth, sir. We already handled the thing with Gore and Vanderbilt, and he dropped out to go into Congress, to run for Congress. You don't know what you're talking about. But just keep reading from those propaganda sheets that they keep sending out in the mail. That's why these calls, it sound like we have an echo on the phone. And how come you didn't tell us about Gore wanting to repeal the Second Amendment while you're at it, too? I'm sure you have that literature as well. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, my Lord and Savior, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Good, good. Listen, I'm leaving this peninsula for a better one tomorrow.
Yes.
Miami International tomorrow at 5, flying into Rome.
Great.
Be there for 17 days. Gonna probably do Milan, Florence, the whole upper part. Just wanted to let you know, too, we are actually, the current vote in Florida is 1-0. I called up and let them know that I was going to be out of town, and they allowed me to vote early, so Gore is up 1-0.
All right.
So there you go. Let me ask you, Wednesday, have you ever done the Mass with the Pope on Wednesday?
No, I don't go anywhere near the Pope.
Well, I think, it's kind of cute to see an old guy in a dress, so I might,
you have to go to the Vatican to see old guys in a dress in Rome. You'll see if you get...
Yeah, they're pounding it all over, aren't they?
They are.
All right, Neil, I will miss you, but not much else. I don't like to suck around for a shameless request, but I could use a duck job before I leave.
Okay, buonasera.
Later now.
Okay. Yes?
You want that meatball thing from Jeff?
Sure, whatever he wants to bring. Oh, what happened to his Gore button? Greg Reed. What is it?
I'm voting for Nader now.
Yeah, the hell you are. Lock him in the building next Tuesday and don't let his ass out of here. I don't trust him. He's too wishy-washy. You know him. What do we got to give away there? Some tickets for what? Front row for what? Oh, for for the Panther game tonight. Any interest?
No.
Oh, we'll give them away. On the glass? Sure. That Greg, boy, I tell you, those Panthers, are they hot or what? Huh?
No.
They're in first place in their division. That's all we care about. They're in first place. They got a win. They got one win. They're in the girls' division. Like I said yesterday, there's going to be an asterisk next to everything in that division. What? What is that? Oh, you're taking him?
No, he says I can't have him. It's for the audience.
Okay. Well, you can get out. First of all, you don't want to sit in the front row. They're the worst seats in the house. I mean, they are. You can't see anything. You wind up with a whiplash. And you can get tickets anytime you want. All you got to do is call up our good friend Steve Dangerfield or Mike Hansen. Don't they take care of you?
I've never used that option, but according to what he told you that time.
They will take care of you, believe me. Just give them the code. In fact, I'm going to go there and give them both a big kiss tonight and give them my code. That may get rid of it. No, seriously. You can get in there. We got a pair of tickets right up against the glass. What section is it? 111 again?
133.
133, whatever it is. Right on the glass. And then you don't have to worry about it. You'll have plenty of elbow room. Very sad. I'm really worried. And of course, the guys are all sick. Pavel's got a cold. He'll be playing, though. He'll be playing, or we'll want to know why. He could have a broken leg and he's going to be playing because for $10 million a year, Wayne ain't taking no for an answer. Got it, Pavlov? Probably too much screwing around, sweetheart. Too much running naked on the beach with Ray Whitney. And I sure hope that rumor don't come up with any foul language on that broadcast tonight. Here's Coral Gables. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Regarding George Burns, I'm afraid he didn't make it to 100.
Oh, no.
Yes, he passed away 2 weeks before his 100th birthday.
I hate when that happens.
Well, you remember that he was supposed to have a party in England at the Palladium?
Didn't have it.
Didn't have it. And I got to tell you, the reason he passed away was he didn't get his flu shot.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, and speaking of flu shots, they were showing over, I guess I saw it on CNN over the weekend in the airport, they raised the price way up because there's a shortage of flu vaccine, so they jacked the price way up this year. Isn't that nice? That's healthcare in America for you.
Yeah, well, I was over at one of the markets, and they had a sign there saying they were going to have to raise the price. I guess it's something to what you say. One more thing. You know, if the unthinkable happens and Mr. Bush does get elected, you mentioned yesterday 8 years. I would venture to guess we're talking more like 16. Because if George Bush gets in, can Prince Jeb be far behind?
Can he be in his behind? I don't think Jeb could get elected dog catcher anymore. I think people are on to him.
Anyway, that's all. I'm out of material.
Okay, thank you, sir. Whatever you said. So George Burns did make it to 100. We were wrong on that. Let's get the buzzer. Bob Hope didn't die yet. What else? Well, we're on a streak here today. Wrong. But I'm a big man. I can handle it. Like I said, I'm an emotional cripple. I can't stand it. 567. How about those hockey tickets? Any interest at all? The Islanders must have some New Yorkers out there. Hey, they don't have any fans in New York. How can you expect them to have any here? They don't draw flies there on Long Island. Here's a lady in Kendall. Hello.
Hello, Neil. I found an article about why you and I and a lot of people were confused about Bob Hope's death.
Yes.
It reads here. It's short. It'll be fast.
This isn't a lady.
No.
Well, it says on here, lady in Kendall. Joe Costello called you a lady. I'd come down here and punch his lights out if I were you when we're done with the call.
All right, sure.
Okay.
Anyways, it says here, an Associated Press article being prepared in the event of the death of Bob Hope was inadvertently displayed on the news service website Friday on June 5th, 1998.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember this.
Yeah, it goes, prompting a congressman to erroneously announce his death on the floor of the House. House Majority Leader Dick Armey saw a copy of the AP Internet story, handed it to Representative Bob Stump of Arizona, and asked him to announce Hope's death on the House floor.
Dick and Stump.
Yep. Stump's announcement, broadcast live on C-SPAN, became the basis for other news organizations reporting that Hope had died. When it was announced a few minutes later that the 95-year-old, so now we know how old he is now, Hope was alive and in fact was having breakfast at his home in California, Armey and Stump apologized to Hope's family. The AP removed the article from its website after a staff person noticed it. However, Stump had already made his announcement. This is kind of funny how the name is ironic, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
Then it says, AP, like other news organizations, prepares obituaries on celebrities so copy can be moved quickly when they die. AP's longtime Hollywood correspondent Bob Thomas, who has known Hope for decades, called the family to apologize on behalf of the AP for the erroneous report. Hope's daughter Linda said it has happened before, and
every few days, yeah.
And they were used to it, and said her father had a good laugh about it. At least he has a good.
Oh, you know something? Now that you're telling me this, I remember reading about this in the tabloids. They showed him lying there on the gurney, like with the teeth, and
right.
laughing about it. Yeah.
I tell you something. I thought he was dead too. So.
I thought he was dead like 20 years ago, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Okay. I'm glad I straightened you out now.
Come on down here and straighten Joe Costello out. Beat the crap.
Oh yeah. All right. Have a nice day, Neil.
Yeah. Thank you. Lady and Kendall, what is with you, man? You're off your feet. I think you better eat a little bit extra today.
He sounded quite feminine.
Did not sound, no, he did not sound feminine. He did not sound like a lady. I should have asked him how he's doing with the ladies. He didn't sound feminine. Now you're making it even worse. He didn't sound feminine. Oh, I see, it's that Julio thing. He was a Julio, so what's wrong with that? That doesn't mean he's feminine. 567-0560. Are they ever going to do something? Well, now that Bluff is back here, maybe he'll do something, although I doubt it. But now that he's back, although he was screaming this morning, Greg, it's a fight, it's a fight. Get off your duff. Yeah. Get with somebody engineering and get line 5 fixed down here. I mean, we're smoking on these phones here lately because we got the election is only 6 days away, Duff. Hey, with it. You silly person. I forgot to show Duff the pictures of the Rue de Vaseline in Amsterdam that Al left yesterday, but then it just dawned on me I don't have to show him the pictures because he's already been there. He already be seeing these places from the outside, of course. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Ray Whitney on the phone here.
Yeah, right.
How you doing there?
You sound about as much like Ray Whitney as I do.
I just wanted to check in and say hi. And
yeah, uh-huh.
Who
else would you like to be there, sir? How about Bob Hope?
Bob Hope?
Yeah, would you like to be Bob Hope?
No.
Okay. Too late. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless. I guess what, pal? Ray Whitney is a friend of mine. I know Ray Whitney. You ain't no Ray Whitney, okay? God. No, seriously, he sounded about as much like Ray Whitney as Lenny Martez sounds like Ray Whitney.
The way we're going today, though.
No, but believe me, I'm not wrong on that one. For a little guy, Ray Whitney's got a big, ballsy voice. He must be hung like a moose. Yeah, I mean, at least he must have the balls of an elephant, like Greg Fadick. Anybody? Is that just a stereotype that guys with real deep voices have big balls? Is that a stereotype or is that true? I don't know. Well, we don't have anybody in this building that's got a big, deep, booming voice. Now, Greg Fadick over there at IOD in the old days, over there at Cox, if I can say that, he probably does. Not that I would care, but I'm just assuming. Huh? Where did that stereotype come from? Well, the big ballsy voice, you see, right? Thanks a lot, Ray. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you know that guy when he did come on, he had a high nasal voice, and at first I did think it was a deep voice keeping woman.
Yeah.
Kendall. And then the more he talked, the more he sounded like a guy.
Maybe he was like sitting in a bad position in the beginning.
Yeah, the nasality.
He might have been resting on his laurels or something.
But anyway, I do think that George Burns lived a couple of days after his 100th birthday. I remember reading about that.
Uh-oh.
and he lasted just a few days afterwards, and then he kicked off.
Well, I guess we all owe this to Steve Allen for dying yesterday, so we can debate, the...
Yeah, I'm going to miss him, because he was really, I think he was a genius.
He was a genius. He was the funniest man who was ever on television, but I'm not going to miss him because, like I said before, in his closing couple of years, he went off the deep end. He lost it.
Well, he was the old guard, and he's upset about how television's changed.
Yeah, but he was a great liberal, though. He was an innovator. He was cutting edge, and one of the quotes in the thing about him, here it is, he says, even as early as 1980, Mr. Allen complained that TV comedies were far too dirty for his taste. Now, that's an old fuddy-duddy attitude to take,
But don't you think, though, that the old comedians always said, you resort to blue material when you're out of good material?
No, for example, last night, one of the people they had on the phone was Don Rickles, who was very funny, as usual.
Right.
On Larry King when they had this panelist tribute.
Absolutely.
And I noticed that he didn't mention that. He didn't bring up this topic till after he spoke to Don Rickles, because if he would have mentioned the thing about this campaign, cleaning up TV, Rickles would have probably told Larry to F off or something like that, So.
Well,
I didn't mention it to him.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because he was great.
He was great. He was the best.
Yeah, he was the best. And it's funny that they said, he paved the way for Johnny Carson and all of them. And nobody mentioned on TV that Jack Paar was right up there.
Yeah, they mentioned him last night.
They did finally?
Yeah.
I almost thought he was like blackballed because I haven't heard his name.
Oh yeah, Jack Paar was a lot. Johnny Carson never said anything funny in his life. I never knew what that was all about. Jack Paar was great.
Right. Johnny Carson was a good TV politician. That's why he stayed as long as he did. He must have really schmoozed with the right people, you know?
Yeah, he must have bought a lot of booze for Ed McMahon.
Exactly.
Okay, have a great day, sweetheart.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Steve-O. And they showed some of the clips, the sportscaster skit that he did, when he cracked up, you would be on the floor just peeing in your pants because he was legitimately cracking up. It wasn't fake. I mean, there's nothing worse than somebody laughing and it's fake, like... Yeah. Or an even better one. Yeah, there's a... Boy. How you doing, Karen?
I had one in my mouth once.
1057 at 560 QM.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, and WQAM.com for the world.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
Time to go to the closing statements. Vice President Gore. It's one of my top priorities, Jim, to give every single child in the United States handguns that are so widely available that kids are finding ways to get a hold of them. I'm a grandfather now. I want to be able to tell my grandson we were violent and unpredictable, and I'll do whatever is necessary if I'm president to make sure that it stays that way. And I ask for your support.
Governor Bush? Yes. It's time to have a new commander-in-chief who will lend money to corrupt officials and to make sure our society is as hopeful as it possibly can be. Every single child in America must be put to death. I mean, every child. We can close public schools. I'm a hard-hearted person, and I don't care about children. You feel that is a failure of the Clinton administration? I do.
I do. It's 11:01 at 560 WQM. So anyway, Molly Ivins writes, and I don't want to hear any more of your crap, all you redneck with your crap about Molly Ivins. She's great. Governor Bush and hate crime bills. This is on the op-ed page in the Herald this morning. A dramatic new political ad reminding viewers of the dragging death of James Byrd Jr. in Jasper 2 years ago has the Bush campaign in a royal snit denouncing the ad as utterly disgusting. Byrd's hideous death attracted the nation's media to East Texas. The case and reaction to it were much examined, as was the later case of Matthew Shepard, the young gay man who was lashed to a fence in Wyoming. At the beginning of the 1999 session of the state legislature, the black, brown, and gay communities were demanding a hate crimes bill, and the issue had to be addressed by Governor George W. Bush. He said he opposed the bill because all crimes are hate crimes. The House sponsor, Representative Sophronia Thompson, in one of the finest speeches of her career, made a direct rebuttal. Is cashing a bad check a hate crime? Is insurance fraud a hate crime? The House, after an impressive debate, passed the James Byrd Jr. Memorial Hate Crimes Bill, 83-61, and it looked as though something good would actually come out of the racist murder. Bush said he would consider the bill if the Senate passed it, and then he set to work to keep it bottled up in the committee in the Senate. Because the media followed the bill closely, there was no doubt about what happened. As Senate sponsor Rodney Ellis said, the bill is stuck in the Criminal Justice Committee because committee Republicans could not accept gays and lesbians as a special category. This was not the let's not embarrass the governor session, and Bush's political problem was simple. He was about to run for the nomination of a party in which the Christian right voters make up about a third of the Republican primary vote. He could not afford to be associated with a bill that could be interpreted as giving special rights to gays. The bill was desperately needed to reassure minority communities that the state cares about what happens to them. During intense lobbying on the bill, Renee Mullins, Byrd's daughter, traveled from Hawaii, where her husband is stationed at a military base, to testify before the legislature and meet with the governor. Nice typo. The Senate Judiciary heard her, but the governor refused to meet with her. Mullins called U.S. Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, the only Republican state official to attend Byrd's funeral, to ask for help. Hutchison and Thompson persuaded Bush to meet Mullins, and according to several sources present, it was a most uncomfortable meeting. Bush seemed especially uncomfortable. It began with Mullins asking why he opposed the bill, and he said he hadn't read it. Mullins gave him a copy, and he threw it on his desk. At the end, Mullins asked, "Will you help us?" Bush said, "No." No. According to Diane Hardy Garcia, lobbyist for the Lesbian and Gay Political Caucus, Mullins was crying, and he didn't try to console her or even offer her a Kleenex. He was cold and icy to her. This is confirmed by Thompson and others who were in the meeting. This doubtlessly accounts for Mullins' voice in the now controversial ad saying that when Bush refused to help pass the bill, it was like reliving my father's murder all over again. To put it mildly, Bush did not feel Mullins' pain. When the Republicans finally voted to kill the bill after a caucus meeting with Bush's staffer, Democrats walked out. They held a pray-in at the Capitol Rotunda and shut down the Senate during 10 hours of negotiations on the bill. More than 200 bills were killed during the standoff, and a remarkable level of personal animosity was achieved. It was an incredibly bitter fight, and Bush's subsequent effort to claim that he had sided with moderate Republicans on the bill embarrassed his own supporters. This is the background of the ad. When Bush disingenuously claimed during the third debate that the state of Texas has a hate crimes bill, he was deliberately ignoring this entire history and referring to the weak, essentially meaningless law that was all that could be passed under Governor Ann Richards. It's hard for me to tell whether Bush actually believes the things he keeps claiming about Texas, writes Molly Ivins in the op-ed in the Herald today. Hey! Nice going, Molly. Don't confuse them with the facts, though. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil. This is Guy LaFleur.
Oh, how you doing, Guy?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Serge Savard on the phone here.
Yes, sir. Eh?
How's it going, eh?
It's good. It's good. It's good. Speaking of Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
John Belleville on the phone. How's it going, Jenny? Jeannie.
It's doing good, man.
Good. Here's Maurice the Rocket Richard. He's still dead, though, I guess. Yeah, he's dead.
I guess that's enough, huh?
Oh, we better check on that.
Yes, sir.
Pretty sure he's dead.
Yes, sir. Speaking of Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
Yes.
Did you know that Neil Sedaka and Edie Gourmet were first cousins?
How do you like that?
Just an FYI, nothing else to talk about.
Well, that's good. That's very important. Neil Sedaka, it was when I was out in Vegas losing my ass here a couple of weeks ago. Neil Sedaka was playing at one of those joints out there.
Actually, last year I saw him in concert up at FIU.
Yeah.
And he was excellent. Put on 2 hours nonstop, and he's really good.
I like Neil Sedaka.
Oh, absolutely. Doing the classical and the whole bit. And he said, "I'm sure you all know my first cousin, Idatska Gormitska." And that's Edie Gourmet.
How do you like that?
And they're of Turkish descent.
And one thing about Neil Sedaka...
He has a wife, you know.
That's correct.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the memories. Yeah, let's reminisce. Let's be real old, okay, and start reminiscing. They had Louis Nye on there, and Don Knotts, Pat Harrington, Tom Poston, all those old farts. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I mean, when we start getting faxes about Eddie Cantor, what more could you want? Eddie Cantor and Ida. Anybody in this audience remember Eddie Cantor?
No.
Beside my mother? Here's Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Don't mean to burst your bubble.
But
the reason why Gore is losing Tennessee and why he will lose the election
yes,
is whether we like it or not, Americans are not going to put a Jew in the White House.
Uh-huh.
Do you honestly think that that's going to happen? Do you think Gore is going to win next Tuesday?
Well, let me ask you, if that's the case, how come it's so close?
Well, polls are polls, but when it comes down to it, when people got to put their little pin in the hole,
yeah,
and they see Lieberman there, they're not going to do it. America's redneck.
We'll see. Well, redneck is right. Take a look at the states where Bush is ahead. Every one of them is a redneck state. Every single one of them.
He's not even winning his own state. I've got to tell you something. When they hate him, they hate him.
No, it's not a question of they hate him. With Tennessee is they've got a Republican governor now, 2 Republican senators. It's a very Republican state.
You can say that. I mean, that's all fine and good.
It is true.
It's not going to happen, Neil.
Well, we'll see. Okay. Thanks for your optimism. Not that there's no anti-Semites in Florida. Let's say it again. 12-point lead in the latest MSNBC Reuters Oddly poll. 51% for Gore, 39% for Bush. And when you take, when you consider the old Cubans and the rednecks, it's only 39%. Got a lot of old Jews out there, baby. A lot of Schwarzers, a lot of faggots. And we're all voting for Gore. How do you like that? Every single one of us. And some of us are voting several times. Yeah, I don't want to get anybody nervous. Some of us are voting like 4, 5, 6 times. And I checked this morning to find out what the going rate is for a dark vote in this election. $8. $8, not bad. Not by too much crack for $8, I guess, but hey, it's better than nothing. $8. Yeah. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQM.
I don't believe it!
Tina, my daughter dear, you talk too much. Your jaw must be hurting. There'd be nothing to hear if I was there. That much is certain. So big deal. I made some calls. We wanted to elect JFK. And how did I do this? I did it the mob way. Regrets, I've had a few. Frank Jr. is one I'd have to mention. And now Tina makes it two. She spilled the beans about the election. I called Sam Quintana, made sure he'd win on election day. And how did I do this? I did it the mob way.
Yes.
Cool. You got a problem with that? I didn't think so. And if anybody has anything else to say, you'll be meeting me a lot sooner. Capiche?
11:14 at 560 WQM. Is he still dead? Oh, man, you got to double check on every one of these. Just when you think you got him out of the way and then they make a comeback, like Bob freaking Hope. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. Although I do remember in the tabloids reading the thing about how he was amused at the preliminary, etc. But, I mean, every second of every day. Here's the fact from Rob that says, I believe you were wrong about the Islanders not drawing flies. I thought all crap draws flies. Well, guess what, Rob? That crap is so bad, even the flies won't touch it. How do you like that? Here's a call from Tampa. Hello?
Hey, Neil, yeah, I think one of the reasons that Gore is pulling ahead in Florida is because all the folks in South Florida who have been cankered by the Jebber,
yeah,
this is their one chance to really hurt Jebediah.
Yeah, the cankered people are sore about it. That's great.
Go in there and vote for Gore and make that little boy cry.
Okay.
See ya.
That little boy Jeb. Yeah, they got a whole week now that everybody's laying off on the canker business, on the chopping down your trees. Citrus cutting stop for 1 week. Oh! And they claim that they're pulling in the crews to bolster the program and to do this and educating, yada, yada. They're doing it because they're getting their ass sued by every damn municipality all over South Florida. And because the public is very... And isn't that interesting? They're cutting it off for a week. A week from today will be November the 8th, the day after Election Day. Huh? So maybe the Jebster doesn't want to piss too many people off right around Election Day and the day before. So they'll figure they'll put the goddamn Gestapo boots back on again a week from today after the election's all over again. Keep that in mind. Here's the mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Good. I just wanted to know, did you happen to see there was an article that Al Franken wrote in the New Rolling Stone about is Bush really dumb?
Didn't see that one.
You have to read that article. If George can get it, it's the one with Jacob Dylan on the cover.
Okay.
It's a very good article.
Is that a newer one than the one with Gore on the cover? Because that's the one I got.
No, I don't know what month it is. I just bought it like last week, so it's pretty new. But I also wanted to ask you, is there any chance I can get those hockey tickets?
Sure, no problem. I forgot all about them.
All right, I love the Hounds and the Panthers.
Okay, hang on.
All right, thanks.
Line 2, take care of that fine gentleman there who gave us some good info. At least he had something to say. Unlike,
Can I get the ticket?
no, he didn't do that. Like a lot of those freeloaders. I forgot all about those tickets. And I guess so did everybody else. That's why we got so many thousands of them unsold for tonight's game. I tell you, it's looking kind of grim. And I'm not going to chastise the public. I understand the prices keep getting higher and higher and the concessions keep getting higher and higher. I would like to see a good crowd there tonight. I'm going to go there even as sick as I am. I'll be there, freezing my ass off with that Maple Leaf jacket on. Yeah, I know they lost last night. Big deal. Made a nice shot there at the end. Actually stuck one in the net right after the whistle went. Almost tied it up. But they're not playing all that good. But in the meantime, they're 6-5. They've at least won 6 games, the Maple Leafs. As opposed to our Panthers, who've won a grand total of 1 game. A grand total of 1 game. And many of the teams that they played, by the way, like the Minnesota Vile, aren't exactly what you'd call the cream of the crop. Yeah. So let's hope that in spite of the flu and all these other excuses, that they pull it up a notch or two tonight and get out there and kick some Islander ass. Or we might be seeing some of those Murray boys very soon. You know, I don't want to start playing Butch Boss here, but...
Bye!
Yeah. Starting to come to a lot of people's minds. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
It's me. You're the best, Neil. The lone voice of reason in South Florida.
Yeah.
Before you come on in the morning, I kind of have to keep pushing the button.
Yes, I am.
Uh-huh.
Pardon me?
I said...
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Yeah, before you come on in the morning, I keep trying to find a decent radio to listen, station to listen to, and I happened to switch to public radio.
Oh boy!
And there was a quote from our wonderful George W. Blumberbuff, and he says, regarding the Democrats, they want to tell you that cutting taxes does not resonate loudly with the American people. Well, I tell you that it does resonate loudly with the American people.
He's a moron. What do you expect?
Well, it resonates loudly with me. Neil, you're the best. And that guy that called a couple calls ago?
Yes, sir.
Guarantees putting a pin in the wrong hole.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
How you doing, gentlemen? Now, don't go embarrassing him, okay, and making a big song and dance, because he makes up all the crap that he tells you. I never said any of that. Jeff Cohen is here with our friend Tanner from Pizza Law. And also some good weed that we're going to be smoking right after lunch. Are we smoking before or after? I guess before to work up our appetite. 567-0560, pound 560. No, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't. That is so grotesque. Don't pay any attention to him, okay? Your job is safe. Because I'll start telling some real inside stories here. So your job is safe as long as I'm around. Don't go through there with a bib and a whole song and dance. That's bad. Yeah, nice going there. Oh, here, so you can look at some pictures here, some places that your friend Al Goldstein was hanging out, some real fag places your buddy Al was hanging out. Yeah, he's always with a girl. That's why he's put those ads in the paper. Beard wanted. You ever see those ads? Beard wanted. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir?
Sheldon Cannageezer calling.
What is it?
Sheldon Cannageezer?
Oh, all right.
Now, I'm probably the only person in South Florida who knows who Sheldon Cannageezer is besides you.
Besides Theo Ferry, yeah.
Yes. I just wanted to call and verify.
Is Theo still asleep in the back seat of the car?
I believe he is.
Okay, good, because I don't want him to see what's going on.
Right. I just wanted to verify that George Burns was, in fact, over 100. At his autopsy, they sliced him open and counted the rings, and there were, in fact, over 100.
Yeah.
Bob Hope is just as alive as Ronald Reagan, and they're both now living tributes at the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. And I know you're having a fit over this presidential election.
Yes, I am.
On the same side as you, Neil, but I just want you to know, after following these elections for, 20, 30 years now, no matter who gets elected, Republican, Democrat, abortion's still illegal. You can still get a gun anywhere. Capital punishment is still legal, no matter who's in there. The same things happen. Unless we do something different for a change, nothing will ever change. So, Harry Brown for president.
Oh, God. You were doing so well.
Well, I tried. And I know you just gave the Islanders tickets away. I'm an Islander fan from way back when, the Sinner Spencer, Greg Gagne days. Jermaine Gagne.
Say hi to Tim Horton for me. I'll see you later. Oh, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I kind of like the way that Tanner laid those balls out there on the plate. Here's the Mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami.
All right. Hey.
Yeah.
Speak to me, sir, before it's too late. Speak.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know about on election day, but I ain't gonna vote for Bush, but I'm gonna eat some Bush.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I gotta say, bud.
Okay. Well, make sure it's not the burning bush, okay, schmuckhead? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Another articulate sports out there in Radio Land. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to weigh in on this campaign issue here.
Go right ahead, sir. Way over.
In the waning days of the campaign, I think maybe we should rally to get our pal Hernandez out so he can help with the election and we can all vote 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, he can find a few stiff sports. Maybe, in fact, we can get George Burns down here to vote. He's a good-looking guy.
That's right. That's right. Anyhow, go Gore. I'm out of material.
Okay, thank you so much. Brilliant call. 567-0560. 153 votes in our poll so far. Is Joe Lieberman an asset or a liability to Al Gore? Liability 66. Makes no difference 53, and 34 say is an asset. Means we got 34 on the poll today so far. Jeff Cohen's voting next Tuesday. Nodding his head. Are you registered to vote? And you're voting? For. There you go. See? Joe Costello, good Italian boy. He's in there. He's registered to vote, right?
Without a doubt.
And you're voting for?
Who do you think?
Okay, and I'm registered to vote for the first time in years. I'm voting for Gore. It's 4 for 4. How do you like that? Yeah, but he values his job, I guess. He knows which side it's buttered on. Make sure somebody's following him there. Here's the mobile and Davey. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
Good. Kind of undecided on who to vote for this year.
Sawchuck, is it?
Sorry?
I said, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Kind of undecided on who to vote for. Both of them are pretty much
mediocre.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Either way, I'm going to vote at least 5 or 6 times. My question is, who should I vote for?
Well, let's get potluck. Who's on TV right now?
That younger workers want to just scrap Social Security.
Okay, there you go. Al Gore's on TV right now. There's your answer, sir. It's like
you got to think. Bye.
It's like a message from...
Neil, God.
There you go. Asking you shall receive. 24 past 11 at 560 WQM.
Beware of exploding balls.
I'm doing her, that's right, just about every day and night, 'cause Britney's young and tight. Hey, baby, come on. I waited endlessly. She finally gave it to me. Now, just like in her songs, I can hear her moan. I've been dating her since we were 4. It ain't no lie. I was the first to go through that door. It's come by. It's about time everybody knew. We're doing it like bunnies for a year or 2. I hate to tell you her virginity has come by. The sweetest cherries are so young and pink. I thank God every day that I am within sync. I hate to tell you her virginity has come by.
Okay. See you, Tanner. And what do you mean his hair was all screwed up? What do you mean by that, Joe? He was not your type. You know something? I'm beginning to wonder if there are any straight people around. I don't find any. I'm listening to the comments that Jeff Cohen was just making in here. And then, of course, we know that he hangs out with Al Goldstein. And after hearing what Al had to say here yesterday and seeing these pictures that he left here, I don't think there are any straight guys down here.
I know one.
Yeah. Don't say George. He's Cuban. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. Several open lines here. We're waiting on you. Just because lunch is here isn't time for you to crap out. 6 days till election time. Do we see a tremendous... And here I am right off my sickbed. I'll just put Gore on here to hell with you.
Who've worked hard, done what's right, and deserve a secure retirement. I'm running for president to fight for you, and that's something worth fighting for. I need your help on Tuesday. Let's win this election. Let's win Florida, and then let's win the future of the United States of America. God bless you, and thank you.
Nice timing there, Neil. God bless.
Neil, God.
And Al Gore, too. He needs the help. Steve Allen was the only guy with enough chutzpah to put Lenny Bruce on TV. That's what I said. That's exactly correct. He had the balls to put Lenny Bruce on TV, who was cutting edge would be an understatement, censored and banned by just everybody under the sun. And then all of a sudden, Steve, it must have had like gotten a bad bowl of grits. Must have done it. Gave him the schmitz. And for the last 2-3 years, he's been one of those awful full-page ads and censor this and censor that and write the letter. He lost it. And we just double-checked. He's still dead, Steve Allen. Okay, no, see, now I'm so paranoid by announcing names on the air of people who I thought were dead, and they're still alive. That 200-year-old very nice lady that called from the beach right off the bat this morning. And she was in shock when I told her that Bob Hope was dead. Come to find out, I'm wrong and she's right. How do you think that makes me feel? Like a moron. Like some kind of a schmuck, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you?
Pretty good.
You know what really pisses me off about this town, and especially about this show, and if you don't mind me stating my own personal opinion.
Pisses you off about this show?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the people that call the show.
Oh.
All the ass-kissers who call you up and talk all this crap, and then go ahead and do the complete opposite. Why can't people just get on the radio and say what they feel? Why?
Meaning what?
Why is that? That's a burning. You say you will have burning questions about everything. Well, that's my burning question. Why can't people just be real on the radio?
Because they're suck-ups. Most people call
exactly.
I've always said that. The overwhelming majority of people who call radio talk shows do so to ingratiate themselves with the host and suck up. Even if they totally disagree, they still want to suck up.
I don't agree about everything that you do. I think you're very funny, and that's why exactly why I listen to you, and I'm entertained by you.
There you
but
go.
I cannot get on the radio and
just entertainment. I'm not here to solve all the problems of the world.
Right, exactly.
Mike Siegel, that's right.
I like to say just to South Florida, get on the radio, speak your mind. If you have an opinion, be strong with it. Don't give these little weak, oh, Neil, your God, and this type of thing, just to get free tickets or some kind of crap.
Yeah, just to suck
say
around.
what you mean.
Right.
Make me happy.
Stand up and be a man or something. Right. That's right.
Don't make me nauseous at lunchtime, at least.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're working on it, pal. Thanks very much. There's a guy that told it just like it is. I'm with him.
Oh!
Speak the goddamn truth. Unless you're for, well, of course, if they're for Bush, they can't. But I would say that we've had about, 70 to 30 over the last, at least since you've been here this week. Much more Bush people than Gore people. Because they know that first of all, I don't like to suck around. I agree with everything you say. There are a few things more boring. The only thing that's more irritating right off the bat is, thank you for taking my call. I hear that on our sports shows a lot. Thank you for taking my call. What a stupid thing that is to say on a talk show. When we keep giving the numbers out, when we invite you to call, when the whole goddamn show are about talking to the goofballs out there in radio land, thank you for taking my call. And that is in line with what this guy just said. That's the first step in the ingratiation process. See? They're sucking up already. Even before hello, thanks for taking my call. That's just a way of sucking. And just like I was telling Tanner a minute ago, there's nothing wrong with little sucking, but let's not, go too far. Right here in the middle of the show. Now, did you see the way that Jeff was trying to see? I can't deal with that. Trying to embarrass him and degrade him. He's a nice kid,
He looked embarrassed.
Yeah, he was embarrassed. He has a bib like he's going to put that plastic bib around my neck. I mean, come on, get serious, Jeff. Treating me like some kind of a dirty old man. What? No, I mean, just because Jeff Cohen's a dirty old man, I don't have to be following his goddamn footsteps. I didn't say shit. The hell you didn't. Had to dump him more than Al Goldstein. Since he started hanging around with that pervert. Hey, will you... Next time, during the next break, I'll do it during the break. Get that picture of Al Goldstein and that stump penis that's on there, that's airbrushed on there. Get it out of here. He only wishes, in his dreams, he only wishes that he had anything even the same shape as that thing. That cock and bull story, if you're part of that expression that he gave me yesterday about when I asked him about those beautiful blonde hookers that are like a half a block away from his apartment in Amsterdam. And wow, that's only 15 minutes. When I was over there in Thailand, yeah, right. When you were over there in Thailand with those little boys, what were you doing over there, Al? Come on, spill the beans, sweetheart. Who the hell are you kidding? Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Good morning. How's everything? Everything's good?
Alles good, yeah.
Listen, I'm glad you segued right into.
Oh, that sounds like Bobby Vaughn, who played with that broken ankle in the Stanley Cup. How you doing, Bobby?
No, well, I wish I had a broken ankle. I got a broken head with this election.
Yeah.
You got to admit one thing. You're not real thrilled with this Joe Lieberman. He gives Jewish people a bad name.
That is absolutely correct. He's an embarrassment. He's a walking ad for anti-Semitism. That is correct.
You know what would be nice if we could have an election for the vice president and an election for the president, and we could get the two vice presidents with opposite each other. Then they'd have to work with one another, whoever the guy is.
Yeah.
And so what my
Whatever
point
happens.
is, Neil, if there is such a word around here, is even if this Gore gets in, you're still going to get stuck with that censored idiot who wants to censor Hollywood and people like you with the right to free speech.
Oh, and then another thing that he was doing last night, I'm so glad you brought up Joe Lieberman again. Every time he says anything now, oh, well, Bill Bennett and I, this, Bill Bennett and I. First of all, Bill Bennett is one of the most right-wing, obnoxious, hateful sons of bitches that ever stepped foot on the face of this earth. And the fact that they used to be good buddies now, and of course, Bennett...
He's an asshole!
Bennett denounces him every chance he gets now, but Lieberman doesn't have the chutzpah to separate himself, and if he thinks that he's appealing to the Democratic base or anybody with a brain by always invoking the name of Bill Bennett, it's enough to make me puke this blood chop.
You know, that's true. This guy seems to be riding on a magic carpet ride. Whatever the theme of the day is, I think that's what's killing the campaign. I think he's an embarrassment to Al Gore. That's why this guy isn't leading us head and antlers, because this daddy's boy Bush, who's trying to follow in his father's footsteps, I'm afraid he's going to be on the cell phone trying to get advice from his father, and when he gets Alzheimer's like Reagan, we're all in trouble.
Okay.
And so there's only one thing left to do. Bye, bye, bye.
Yeah, Bill Bennett and I did this, and William Bennett and I did that. Well, and this man says it with a straight face, and you old Jews out there are running the poll. Don't let me discourage you. Please, vote 3-4 times. Because you think that it's a benefit that this guy is Jewish? He's an embarrassment to the Jews, and everything that most Jews stand for. Nauseating, puke-inducing, that's goddamn
Roy!
Joe Lieberman. Well, him too. How's OJ doing, by the way? Anybody down there in Kendall got any OJ reports? Let's hear him. 5670560. I wonder if OJ be voting. You think he'd be voting? Because felons are not. Oh, that's right. He's not a felon. Should be. How about ass murders? Are ass murders allowed to vote? Yeah, somebody go take OJ by the hand and read him the ballot next Tuesday. See if he can catch his big one. 22 before noon at 560 WQAM.
Cops. Eminem shows how bad a white suburban gangster rapper can be.
Well, we're approaching the suspect. Apparently he wasn't happy with his order, and he's backing up the entire drive-through line.
Yeah, what the you call this a Happy Meal? These fries are cold, G. What the are the pickles doing on this?
Watch as Eminem gets arrested for vandalizing a McDonald's playground slot. All that and more on the next Cops.
Tonight on Fox.
19 till noon at 560 WQAM. I think when Fox first put that network on, when Rupert Murdoch started poisoning the minds of America, that's when everything started to go to crap. Anybody believe in that?
No.
That's what Steve Allen said. He's dead. We find any more information about Bob Hope? Is he gasping for oxygen at this moment? It says on this fact, did you read the article Politically Incorrect by Bob Norman in the latest edition of the Broward New Times?
No.
No, I did not. But if you didn't comment, I apologize. I can't listen all the time. It's an article about Jim Novell, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, and how he's endorsing Bush, and how he's endorsing Bill McCollum, that obnoxious right-wing rabid asshole who's behind Bill Nelson by 10 points and dropping farther behind every minute. You're not fooling anybody, Howdy Doody. You got two chances. None and much less than none. You got two chances. 5670560. I'm incoherent. I got a bad head cold. My ear, thank God, opened up a little bit. And that's it. I'm doing the best I can. We got about 40 grand for Planned Parenthood with our Best of the Deal CDs and cassettes and keychains, of course. You can get the CDs and cassettes at Specs all over town. And, of course, in Naples and Fort Myers Specs, too. You can go to neilrogers.com to order your merchandise, or WQAM.com, or you can call the lovely Miguel. Call Miguel's extension at 305-650-0156 to order yours as well. And the campaign, of course, continues through the end of the year, in spite of whatever Tom Jacob might write next time. Here's a mobile in Naples. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can we lighten things up for just a minute?
Can we lighten things up? Are we too heavy for you today?
I don't want to talk about Al Gore or George Smush.
Well, we've been talking about dead people. I mean, you can't get much lighter than that. That hockey player.
I don't want to suck up for free tickets.
Good. We don't have any tickets.
Have you ever been doing something during the day and started singing a song in your head?
A lot of times.
And just you stop yourself and you say, wow, I'm singing that song. I didn't even know it.
Right.
I was cutting my lawn on Saturday.
That life is passing me by. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to sing Sometimes I See You.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was cutting my lawn on Saturday.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes I see myself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you're easy. If I had a million guys like you, I'd have a 90 share. But anyway.
And cutting my lawn, and the song goes through my head, and I know you're not going to believe this.
All right.
Yeah, that wasn't the one, was it?
No. It's like the original one.
It wasn't that one?
No.
How about
Sometimes like Jim was passing me by.
Oh,
yeah.
No, it wasn't even that song that was going through my head. It was...
That wasn't it?
Rock on, baby. No, I was mowing it, and the grass too,
Yeah.
and...
You were smoking it and the grass too, yeah.
Exactly, and in my head, the song that goes in my head, and I don't know why, bum, 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 Rick Riley stole my briefcase.
Oh.
I want to fart in his face.
Rick Riley stole my briefcase. I like to fart in his face.
Yeah.
That's Marmy Dink. What gives him the right? Oh, I think his wife wanna bite it off tonight. Bum, 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 bum. Riley stole my briefcase. Oh,
Step on guitar.
what disgrace to the human race. Oh, Rick, you're a pope. And great success. That wheel of meat also includes Rick Riley. Rick Riley stole my briefcase. I like to fart in his face.
Hell.
Rick Riley, you're an asshole.
Did that do it for you?
Yeah. That was like an itch that needed to be scratched.
Okay.
Bye.
5670560. That was he said let's lighten it up a little bit, and we did. I'm so tired of these deadly serious people. Like the guy who called before said, he said, next Tuesday, no matter who gets elected, they're still gonna come knocking on the door 3 a.m. to, go tear your house apart, tear your trees down, go through your ashtray, rip your car apart. We still have a police state. And he's right about that. I mean, I'm pulling for Gore. I'm hoping, I'm squeezing, but it's not like he's some kind of panacea. It's not like he's all he is a buffer. I hate to say that, he's just a buffer, and he's got a weak link. That damn Joe Lieberman, man. This guy. Oh, my good friend Bill Bennett and I have worked. Yeah. Oh. In fact, when Larry asked him about Steve Allen, because they had just finished 40 minutes of eulogizing with all these old fossils like Mike Douglas. And that was one of the first things he talked about. Well, Bill Bennett and I for years have been, we agree with Steve on that. And oh, God, Bill Bennett and I. That's like saying Hermann Goering and I just had a great meal together, and we were just agreeing on, yeah. You're a blight on Judaism all over the world, sir. You and all those Hasidim that are rocking back and forth over there at the Wailing Wall and on the Alton Road. You're a blight. And as they say in Yugoslavia, Kaxelchois. Here's a mobile in Cooper City. Hello.
Boom Boom Jeffrey on here. Neil.
All right. How you doing, Boom Boom?
I'm 42, and I remember when I would run home from school because at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the Steve Allen show was on when I was in grade school, and it was, to me, it was the funniest TV that you could ever watch. And he would have, like you mentioned, Pat Harrington and Charlie Callis would be on the show a lot. And there were just so many great things that happened on that show. Used to have Albert Brooks' brother who does Super Dave Osborne.
He had Dayton Allen on too, as a matter of fact. Before I think it was on after he was. I'm trying to think before Howdy Doody or after Howdy Doody, one or the other. Obviously,
it was unbelievable.
Why not?
Unbelievable. But
he was the best.
As you mentioned, Bill Bennett.
He's an asshole.
Bill Bennett's also really good friends. Maybe Joe Lieberman and Rush Limbaugh and Roger Ailes and Bill Bennett can all have lunch together after, if he gets into the White House. I think that'd be a nice little coffee clutch right there.
Yeah, and Hermann Goering can be the chef.
It could be a thing. It could be exactly. So, all right, that was all. I just went to Steve Allen. I will miss you.
Amen.
And Mike Douglas is dead, isn't he?
He looked like it.
See ya.
Yeah, dead or alive, Mike Douglas. Boy, he looked like the mask of death was over his face. You know what I mean by the mask of death? Not like even Madame Tussauds, because those masks, at least they make him look lively. They have to make it look a little bit alive. But this was the mask of death over the face of Mike Douglas. We could take up the office pool, but I think Bob Hope, you never know, he might hang on for years now. Now that he faked me out. He might just out of spite, old Bob might hang on for years, old Skinos. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Yes, good morning, Neil.
Buenos to you.
Listen, I guess I should say about time you got to my call, because I don't want to be a suck-up. However, I have used that phrase in the past, Neil, and I won't do it anymore. I liked your caller earlier about being honest. Listen, Neil, I'm a 43-year-old straight white male. And I guess over the years I would have been considered somewhat a homophobe, but you're definitely entertaining. I think you're entitled to your opinion. It's good. I'm glad you do what you do.
And I'm not chasing you around anyway, so you're not...
No, I find myself listening to you. I've got friends of mine that are starting to listen to you on the old coast. You mentioned Dick Cheney, though. They did have him yesterday on the Lord Limbaugh show. He was talking about the ad that I guess the NCAA is running there about the unfortunate incident in Texas, and how he thought that, it's shameful that the Democratic Party isn't having it pulled and whatnot. So that was about all I had to say, Neil. We didn't want to be a suck-up. Keep up the good work, guys.
Okay, have a great day.
Thanks.
And what was really shameful was the insensitivity of George W. And the article that I read by Molly Ivins, I think, laid it all out for you crystal clear. Oh, here's Jesse Ventura says, vote your heart and vote your conscience, whatever that means. And it says, looking through page after page after page, and the debates and this and that, and I found this debate's very boring, which he's absolutely correct. And he says, talking about special interest, and because this year's elections are close, more than ever your vote makes a difference. Starting today, you should engage and begin choosing your candidate. There are no wasted votes. He says, I don't like that. That's ridiculous. That's a bunch of baloney, Jesse. Because a vote for Fudge Brown, I'll tell you right now, is a wasted vote. You know Fudge Brown? With the Dolphins? Well, that's right. I forgot what a big dolphin booster ponytail was. Boy, they're really kicking ass. Get out of here, Jeff. Thanks for the food. Get out of here and quit embarrassing your health. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Feels like only, 20, 30 hours ago I sat down here? If this, and I have a feeling that this thing is clearing up. Just a little head cold, but I have a feeling. Because when the going gets tough, how does that go? Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hi, Neil. I was just letting you know along the lines with these voting. I heard the latest rumor, and it must be true, is on Bob and Tom this morning, that Democrats vote November 7th and Republicans vote November 8th.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's it.
Thanks.
All right, we'll see you out there at 7.
Not that there's a bunch of dummies out there, but that's true. All you Democrats, we were voting on November 7th, and the Republicans don't have to go till the 8th. Nice going, Bob and Tom.
Oh!
I'm hearing their show is going to be starting pretty soon on this station in the morning, Bob and Tom. Well, that's what I'm hearing, because Duff told me he's so sick and tired of Joe Rose's temperament there that he's getting ready to blow that show out. They're not doing much. Not doing much. People are sick and tired of hearing all, you go into a commercial break, and they're always bitching about the long breaks, but this is what happens when you have selfish guys. You got 3 different guys on the show, and each one of them is doing a live spot in the same commercial break, plus the recorded spots. By the time you come back, I think your dog just spotted on the carpet about 15 times. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard those breaks? where each one of them, I'm munging my food, I can't help it. I can't talk and eat at the same time without munging a little bit. It was just a little bit of Tanner sausage. But that's the deal. If they want to collect all those talent fees, then they got no business running around in the hallway trying to beat up Duff and bitching about the fact they got long commercial breaks and using that as an alibi why they have such a dismal audience. Joe, not you, Joe Rose. He had me fooled here for 3 years, that Joe Rose. I thought he was okay.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, good. Feel this. But then to come to find out from Pat, who works his ass off to try to make those guys look a little bit better than they really are, especially Geldy and Joe Rose. Find out from him what a real prick Joe has turned out to be and what a hard ass. And then poor Duff comes back from a really relaxing vacation in Key West, or wherever the hell he was, in the dry Tortugas. And the first thing he walks through that door, and here's a big brawl going down the hall between Pat and Joe Rose, which I think is a disgrace.
Go your behind. Go back behind it again or under it.
Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got a little story for you about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Little story, little one.
Okay.
About 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was coming back from Las Vegas, and in front of me, the seat in front of me, guess who was sitting there but OJ.
Yeah.
And the guy who was next to him was talking to him about the politics, and I just don't kill off OJ just yet. He's voting Democrat, from what I understood from that conversation. Oh man!
Huh.
So we'll give him a chair on November 8th.
Okay.
Wait for him to put his vote in.
Sounds good to me.
And in closing, we want Mike Ranieri.
Okay. I almost forgot about that damn thing. That's ancient. That's old news. Where the hell is it, Joe? That's our big macho jock there on the morning show, huh? A guy that walks around the hallway going, yeah, nice going, Joe. Now we know why we call him the little dog. Too much food here, and I just keep eating it and eating it, eating it. And quit trying to embarrass Tanner already, Jeff, you idiot. All those nice people that work for him there, and he just manipulates them, so to speak. Yanks him around like some kind of a mannequin on display. Not nice. He's a good guy. Leave him alone. 4 minutes before noon at 5:06. I don't think anybody who works there is safe. I really don't. Did I say 4 before noon at QAM? I think I was about to say that before I was interrupted by a fat Jew.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale. A Beasley Broadcast Group 6 and WQAM.com for the world.
Neil? God?
This one, to let all you people know how a stoner feel. You know, real high. Pass the brownies. Looking at pot so glorious that the engine I was curious, so I asked my mom for some cannabis, smoke before school on the bus. Got my friends to love the pot, every day in out, we just can't stop. One day we even took up with the cop, smoking a big fat hookah, say I plant my seeds, for my weed, and shit was free. Gonna roll again, say I plant my seeds, for my weed, for my bong. Let me smoke that bong.
Alright.
Baby, that bong. I love when I smoke the bong, just like Cheech and Chong, yeah. That bong. Look at that pot so glorious. At the age of 9, I was curious, so I asked my mom for some cannabis. Used to smoke before school on the bus. Got my friends that love the pot. Every day in and out, just can't stop. One day we even choked up with the cop. Smoking a big fat hookah. Say I plant my seeds, for my weed, and shit was free. Gonna roll again. Say I plant my seeds, for my weed, for my bong. Let me smoke that bong, baby. That bong. I love when I smoke the bong, just like Cheech and Chong, yeah. That bong. Hey, Jimmy, man. Yeah, pass it right over here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. subject that all the girls want me to be talking about. You know what I mean? It's a song that's on every girl's mind. That's right, baby. The bulge in my pants is hard to miss. It takes two hands to handle it. When I jog, it flops like a fish. The gay guys all are wanting it. When I wear pants, I tuck it in my sock. But when I get chubbed, it makes it hard to walk. If I showed Ricky, he'd sing aloud. I'm going Venus loca. Like an elephant trunk. Gay guys all want. Like a picture I'm hung. Let me sing it again. Elephant trunk. Gay guys all want. Like the picture I'm hung. Want to see my show. My song, I love it when I get close. I love it all the time. My song,
1202 at 560, a little doubleheader there for you. Here's a fact that says to Neil Rogers. Isn't it interesting how Ralph Reed, Pat Robertson, and Jerry Falwell have all kept a low profile? Isn't that interesting? Uh-huh. I think the strategy is to keep them quiet for the time being because they're high profile. What only heard George W. If Bush wins, you can bet your last dollar their faces will once again emerge and their religious influence will be felt. Please point this out to your listeners, which I already have many, many times. Please point it out and keep up the good work, and you're the best.
Yes, I am.
And thank you so much. And that's exactly correct. There's the lovely Miguel just came in here. He found that there was a little bit of food hanging around the place. I don't even know what the hell he brought. As for everybody else, is there more stuff in there? Did he bring pizzas today? Did he also bring pizza?
No, he did not.
What did he bring?
He brought me a meatball sub, and you your food, and that's it.
And nothing for Miguel?
He was in a real hurry
when that happened. He was in a hurry because he was going to overfeed the Dolphins, and we suck wind. Don't you understand? We're like yesterday's mashed potatoes. He didn't bring Tanner with him because of the fact that he brought him in here to like put the bib on my thing instead of my lap. He brought him along because they're going to go over and suck ass with the Dolphins. That's what that was all about. Yeah. We can see us anytime. He's sucking up to those Schwarzers, those Dolphin players over there. That's what he's doing. Yeah. Not kidding me. You're a bozo, Jeff.
Yes, I am.
Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Great show.
But the lunch is very good. Yes.
A couple of things. One, you were talking about Molly Ivins. I was on the Nation website. That's thenation.com. And I found a great picture, like an artist rendition that they did of Georgie W. I don't have a fax machine, but I attached it to an email and I sent it to you already. So you can either check it out there or go to thenation.com. You'll love it. It's great.
Okay.
And in closing, Neil, in honor of Hank's award, can you play the Hank Goldberg song?
The Hank Goldberg song? Well, we haven't played that in the Coons Age.
I know.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Take it easy.
You got it.
I know someone who is really fat and ugly too. And I think it's true that he must weigh a ton or two. Who I'm referring to is Hank Goldberg. Hank Goldberg. Monday night TV. He's on the chin. He's Sephiroth. And it's plain to see he's bigger than a buffalo. He should be in a zoo. That Hank Goldberg, Hank Goldberg. Hank Goldberg looks like a buffalo toad in a suit, toad in a suit. The fact he's fat is something that no one can refute. So don't put any food near Hank Goldberg, Hank Goldberg. Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, the interesting part, we were just talking during the last break about the fact that when I first came here, Hank was like, he was the temperamental one in the building, and was always, and I could understand. It took me a while to work here, but I could understand why he was always exploding, because of the frustrations. Plus, he had to work in that toilet over there on Sheridan Street for years. and tolerate the incompetence of the Beasley Broadcasting. So after a while, I began to understand why he was always blowing off and exploding. But as time has gone on, he's the one that's become mellow, and maybe that's why he won a March of Dimes award. I don't think it's got anything to do with it, but he's the one that's mellow, and now we got somebody else in here that's like always exploding and going nuts.
I like the wee-wee.
Yeah, that's the guy. Frickin' Joe Rose, Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Dumb Jock, running around here like, and the whole story this morning, which I probably shouldn't tell us on the air, but I will anyway because the audience likes this crap, over a stupid pair of heat tickets. Now, I realize that Joe is important here, but I don't think that the general mangler, even as inept as he is, I don't think that Greg Reed is going to be coming here 7 o'clock in the morning to hand them tickets to give away on the air. You know, Greg came in here, gave us those hockey tickets. We gave them away. Was there a big song to dance?
No.
Was there a big project?
No.
Did we get into a big fight about it?
No.
Gave away a pair of tickets right on the glass there for tonight's game. So evidently Greg went to Pat, who's the producer of the morning show, and said, here, you think they would like to give away a pair of tickets for the Heat game? And sure, why not? Pat goes into Depot. Here's a couple of tickets for the Heat game. They want us to give away on the air. This is at 9 o'clock. Now, what could possibly be to get in an argument about that? Unless you're looking for an argument. Unless you're looking to browbeat the underlings. Isn't that what you're looking to do, Joe?
Uh-huh.
Big jock with bad knees. And so he goes into a big snit about, well, how come I'm getting these now at 9 o'clock? Why didn't we get them at 7 o'clock when we needed them? I mean, that's juvenile, very childish. I got to be honest with you. I am embarrassed for Joe Rose.
Grab the wood.
Yeah, grab this. I'm embarrassed for him. He's losing it. I mean, and you know what? You know what the turning point was for him? It was when I nailed him that day, which I never watched Channel 6 News, but I actually hit the wrong button on my remote. Was going to Channel 4, hit 6 by mistake, and he was doing a sports one night with Tony Silly Cigaretto on there. He was doing a sports. He had a sports jacket that was on 6 sizes too big. And I can tell you exactly what the night was, too, because they had some young lady producer that he was chasing around, and he went and stuck the mic in her puss. Yeah. In her face.
Maybe that's why he's voting for Bush now, to get back at you.
Because he stuck a mic in her puss?
Because you...
Oh, no, Joe is voting for Bush?
That's what I've been hearing.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you about him? Him and Robert Creeper, I hope they elope together. What a match made in heaven that is. Two bozos. Robert Creeper. And you know something? I think Robert hangs out with Barry Jackass. Yeah, I think Barry's mommy drives both of them to work every day. That's what I'm hearing. About that little Creeper. He's a sleeper. Who's not even supposed to be here in the morning. Talk about it. Does he get paid to work the morning show?
Now he does, yes.
Oh, so he kind of sucked his way into that.
Well, exactly. He used to work the overnight.
Right.
Hang out.
And hang around.
And when Tommy...
Because his ma didn't want him in the house.
When Tommy got moved into the production position...
Yeah.
He kind of just got sucked into that.
Yeah, he just kind of sucked his way in there. So maybe that's why he and Joe get along so tight. Maybe he sucked his way into that, too. 9 minutes past noon at 560 WQAM.
Grab the wood.
What a stuck-up job that was. A white lace dress and a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for the prom. Hey, to all my underling sisters out there, I just got to tell you about my good friend Jeff the Florist. You know, Valentine's Day is almost a year away, so if you're looking for a lovely floral bouquet for your lover, my friend Jeff at Jeff the Florist will personally arrange the ginchiest bouquet of flowers you ever saw. Hey, just look at the delightful arrangements Jeff has today, like the Boo-Foo Bocamber Basket of Bloom, the Geldy Nosegay, and my personal favorite, the Joe Rose Rose. You see, when you push the button on the bass like this is what you'll hear. Oh, that's so sweet. And if you ask to see Jeff out back, he'll open up his pants to let you in on a secret special he's saving just for you. So sashay on down to Jeff the Florist, or call 1-800-GOOD BREAD Alley.
And then maybe one day we'll actually take some time on here and tell people how Geldy actually got on at morning show. The fact that he had his nose up Joe Rose's rectum and kind of like wormed his way. A lot of worms on that show, man. They're all worming their way into somewhere.
Can I co-host your show?
Go ahead.
Let me just move in there.
Go ahead. Only if you tell the story about Geldy, though. Sucking Joe's ass. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. It worked for the Bird. Worked wonders for him. Of course, he's like Steve Allen now. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Just a couple things. It confuses me that what people are thinking, especially people that work for a living, if you're not a multi-millionaire, if they can't remember what it was like when Ronnie and Big Georgie got done with us.
Papa Bush, yeah.
And what's going to happen if Little Georgie gets done with us? If we're not better off today than we were 8 years ago, I don't know where they've been living. You know, I mean, we're so much better off today. The economy's growing, things are moving ahead. And to want to get back there with Ronnie and Georgie, I don't know.
People don't know when they're well off, man. That's the problem. Just I into a bunch of bull crap.
And I like what that guy said. I hope that all the Republicans don't forget to vote November the 8th.
Amen. And
all right, have a nice day.
And set their clocks ahead 10 hours. Okay, I take that. Or behind, I'm sorry. Set your clock back 10 hours and vote November 8th, and we'll be safe. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Thanks a lot, Tanner, and you too, Jeff, for a lovely lunch. Now they're over there feeding the Dolphins, sucking around heavy duty with them. Speaking of the Dolphins, although this has nothing to do with them, it has to do with the stadium. I don't know which way you come to work, but how in God's name, can there not be a stoplight at Ivesbury Road? And does that street have a name, the one that goes by the stadium? Is it like Earl Morrill Way or something like that? The one that comes from the turnpike, you come by the stadium to Ivesbury Road. I have to come through there every morning coming to work. And
that's
you come
not
to
Honey Hill, is it?
No, Honey Hill Road is 199th Street, which is also Ivesbury Road. Like so many streets in Dade County, this one's got 3 names. Not just 2 names, it's got 3 names. Yeah. Get the Honey Hill. But anyway, you come to the end of that thing, and they're like, it's really not, you can't even tell for sure. There's like 2 left turn lanes, maybe there's 3 left turn lanes, and then there's, people making a left off Honey Hill. What is it?
Dan Marino Boulevard.
Oh, thank you so much. And of course, that's something Miguel would know. It's Dan Marino Boulevard. Let's hear it for Miguel. Oh! He's on top of that. But, seriously, that's what that is. You make a left turn there, and you're taking your life in your hands. And the person in front of you, this morning I nearly got wiped out because the stupid broad in front of me, she starts to go, and then she stops. She could have gone 16 times. And then she finally goes, and then now, of course, I'm between a rock and a hard place. And thank God I drive a car that you put your foot on the gas, and you just take off, man. You haul ass. You give it the gas, and you haul ass. That's why it's great to have a Corvette. Not because you're a reckless driver, or you want to be like a juvenile and drive 140 miles an hour on a goddamn highway, but because when you need the gas, it's there, baby. You have that feeling under your foot, if you catch my drift. But how can there not be a traffic light there? You mark my words, somebody is going to get killed there very soon. Somebody is going to get killed at that corner. I mean, every day when I make that left turn, I think, how much effort would it take to put a light there? In addition to which, it would help in slowing the traffic down as they're going east at that point, going over to the school zone there. You idiots, you morons at the DOT, or whoever else is responsible for those kinds of things. God. Oh, here's another OJ report. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was just heard you talk about OJ, and my son plays quarterback for a private school in Fort Lauderdale, and we played OJ's team recently. His son goes to Gulliver Prep.
Yeah.
He had more bodyguards and officers.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And they all had mobile phones. And the whole damn game, this is, small-time football, but the whole game, the phones kept ringing. And they're going, hey, Juice, it's one of the ladies for you, man. It's one of the ladies. My son throws a winning touchdown. My son, we win the game, and Juice comes over to our team and says, hey, man, you shut my kid down pretty good. You guys want some pictures? And everybody kind of walked away.
Good. Nice going. Excellent. That's the best news I've heard all year.
Oh! Thanks, Neil.
Thanks a lot, pal. Nice going. Excellent.
Killed Nicole.
Yeah, we know. Everybody with a brain knows it. And with our luck, we have to wind up with this murdering scumbag in our midst because he's here to evade paying any money to the Goldmans and the Browns. Comes to a bum-ass state like this so we can get off the hook. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. We've covered all the bases today from Bob Hope, he's still alive, to Steve Allen, he's still dead. Maybe a little warm yet. to O.J. and, of course, Gore and Bush. Is either one of them still alive? Hard to tell. And, of course, Joe Lieberman, not even lukewarm. 222 votes on our poll. Is Joe Lieberman an asset or a liability to Al Gore? Liability, 99. Where's Sonny Hersh when we need him? 99. He makes no difference, 79, and an asset, only 44. Only 44 people out there believe he's an asset to the ticket. Here's Pompano Park. Hello.
Yeah, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first of all, for you called chicken soup.
Uh-huh.
Number two, I got a diary here. I feel like I got a sacred cow. I must have called 10 times about it.
Great.
Number three, does Gelby have a real ballsy voice like you were talking about?
Yeah, he's got the big pair. He's got the BBs.
And how about we send Luca Brasi and the Don over to Laundry Head and Brock and settle things?
To what?
Send Luca Brasi and Don Corleone over to Laundry Head and Brock to settle things.
Laundry Head and Brock.
In the Middle East.
Oh, okay. Have a great day. Laundry Head. I thought I was talking about Joe Rose again. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Oh, Barack. The Laundry Head and Barack. You see, you have to enunciate. You have to, when in doubt, kind of spell it out. But we love you, sir. Don't ever forget that. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I love listening to Hank, and I usually listen to him all day on and off whenever I get a chance.
Uh-huh.
And congratulations to him on the award.
Nice going there, Hank. Excellent. He's the man, baby. He's really done it.
And he's great doing a talk show host. He can host a show for 4 hours, and he's done not only in sports, he's done a regular talk show.
Right. I like it better when he's talking about other stuff like politics, and then his people start calling and talking about the odds on who's going to win the election, like yesterday.
Well, the point is, it's great to listen to him talk about anything, and the gambling stuff is great too, and a lot of fun, especially when he picks losers and people call in and all that stuff. But he gets this thing. He doesn't. Some of the callers have told him about it, but he doesn't listen to the callers, and he's probably smart for doing that. But he won't listen to Mad Dog either. He gets into this thing where he thinks he's David Frost. And I mean, that's just not his thing. Doing interviews, talking is his thing.
Oh, I thought the interview he did with that KUN the other day was it was hysterical. It wasn't intended to be funny, but Hank kept asking the straight questions like he was doing a real interview, and the kid kept saying, I shoot. I mean, we all ready. I shoot. It was a great comedy routine. Steve Allen would be proud if he were live.
The thing is, if you're going to interview a college player, and let me tell you something, James Jackson, I believe this is his third year. I've never heard word one from him. He's never been interviewed.
Well, you're lucky.
And very few college players get interviewed, and you would think that he would at least have his producer, or if not himself, call up the school, maybe talk to one of these kids that do their games on the radio and say, hey, who's the guy that I can interview?
Who are the people are articulate and can really speak?
Or just put a sentence together, or at least, I don't know why he doesn't do that. Do you remember his Will Clark interview?
That's why I was hoping he would have Lamar Thomas on yesterday, because he definitely can put a sentence together.
Yeah, or maybe even...
now you started out, you were kissing up to Hank, which was great, because he just won this award, and like I said, he's mellowed, he's become... Even Joe Costello, who used to hate Hank like poison, now is enchanted with him. He's a great guy, everybody here gets along. And Joe Rose turns out to be the turd burger. What?
Well, Hank's always been a guy. I've been listening to him for years.
No, but I'm talking about inside the building. I gave the story before. He was very surly once upon a time because because of the Beasleys, because he had to put up with all their ineptness and incompetence, and it took me a while to understand, but that was the reason for it.
Yeah, that comes through on the air. I told a friend of mine that's been listening to him for a long time, too, that, hey, he's real mellow now. He very seldom goes overboard.
Because he's making a lot of money, and every now and then he'll stop in here and say, life is good, and I nod my head, and we high five and do the whole, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all he's got to do is take a note from the Jim Mandich School of Broadcasting. No interviews.
Okay,
talk.
I'll pass it along.
Right.
Okay, Hank's going to have Rob Conrad. I don't know, that was I'm sorry, it's just a joke. Now, see, you don't understand. This is a scam that Hank's got going. It's great. You got Al Downing, you got Rob Conrad, you got Lamar Thomas, and then by the time you get finished, you're really only doing like an hour a day on your own. And the rest of the time, it's a piece of cake. It's like falling off a log. And the numbers are still great. Numbers on the paycheck, I'm sure, are still great. So what's not to like, right?
Hey, stupid!
Exactly. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait a minute. 6469.
Oh, that was good. Anybody understand what that was?
No.
No. Couldn't understand a freaking word of it. But anyway, that was good. Maybe you can call back and play the Red Tech Band. We're really entertaining. 567-0560, pound 5. See, can't you just envision these people out there, and they have their little tapes, and they've got it all queued up, and they're sitting there, and they're, squeezing themselves while they're waiting on hold to get online, and then comes the big moment, Hello? And then what? What happens after that? What happens after they hear the dial tone? Everybody, I'm sure, inquiring minds want to know. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. You have no idea how much sexual excitement I get from calls just like that. Even more than anal licking. I just can't get that out of my mind. That fax from that pervert, that thief from Amsterdam, allegedly, that faxed me on Monday about the tremendous joys. In fact, we got to get Steve together with Jeff Cohen. Yeah, I bet they have a lot in common. Get your licks at the Pizza Loft. I have to start inserting that in the spot. 26 past noon at 560 WQAM. Were you fudge packer?
Hello. I'm having a bachelor party for one of my friends, and we need some sheep. Sheep. How long do you need them? We'll spend the night with the sheep. The sheep, depending on how many you need, it's usually 300 for the first one. Okay. And probably 150 for each one after that. Okay. And how many did you need? 4? Well, basically, we need a really good-looking one for the bachelor. And then maybe 1 extra or 2 extra. I doubt if they're going to let you have the sheep overnight. Okay. Now, do the sheep come all lubed up and ready to go? They'll be clean. Okay. She'll have them bathed. They'll have a halter on. Okay. But pretty much it's going to have to make sure everybody else keeps their hands off of the sheep. He's not going to want anybody touching them or working with them unless they're animal handlers. Okay. Yeah, he's handled sheep before. You trust me. Old Terry's been with a lot of sheep, I'll tell you that much. Okay. And we want to send them off with a bang, so we we wanted to set old Terry up with a real special-looking sheep, just for one last night of fun. Will he be able to pleasure the sheep? He'll be able to pet him. Okay. I mean, they're not going to do much more than that. Any kind of sexy stuff, no. Absolutely not. Will he be able to the sheep? No.
12:30 at 560. Well, she said no. And she meant no, goddammit. Speaking of that, ex-Delray police supervisor denies sexual jokes told a harassed male officer. In a twist on sexual harassment law, a male former police officer is suing the Delray Beach Police Department because of alleged comments in horseplay by a male supervisor. The former officer claims his supervisor harassed him with derogatory names like Sausage Boy and created a hostile work environment through sexual jokes and locker room antics. The officer, Wayne Hart, and the supervisor, Jeff Rancor, have since left the police department, but the lawsuit continues this week with a trial in Palm Beach County Circuit Court. Hart claims that Rancor made frequent remarks about Hart's shorts, pants, and genitalia. According to the lawsuit, Rancor said that Hart's pants and shorts were so tight that they showed his private parts. This led to Hart's nickname of Sausage Boy and a can of Vienna sausage being placed in Hart's mailbox. They were putting Vienna sausages in his box. Hart also claims that Rancor called him a hermaphrodite and a closet fag. Hart quit the police department in 1997 after he was transferred from the community policing unit to the road patrol on Rancor's recommendation. Attorney Leonard A. Carson, who's representing Delray Beach, said the harassment did not occur. Carson said that police officers received only one complaint from Hart about his nickname, and then they responded immediately by writing a memo telling other officers not to use the name. Hart's lawyer said the lawsuit is a bit unique since it involves an accusation of one straight man sexually harassing another straight man. But the fact that the plaintiff is male doesn't make it any less serious, said attorney Arthur Schofield. Sexual harassment is about power, Schofield said. In testimony this week, Rancor denied harassing Hart. Rancor said the officers in the squad joked with each other and gave each other nicknames. Hart's nickname came about because of the snug fit of his clothing, Rancor testified, not because of his genitalia. Rancor, who retired from the department this year, admitted that the officers engaged in horseplay in the locker room by pretending to grab for each other's crotch. Hart participated in the horseplay with the rest of the officers, Rancor said, and didn't seem bothered by it. Let me read that last one again, okay?
That's a gay club, you moron.
Rancor, who retired from the department this year, admitted the officers engaged in horseplay in the locker room by pretending to grab for each other's crotch. I rest my case. Haven't I always said this? Locker room addicts, all those macho jocks, all these macho cops, grabbing each other's jocks. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a lady mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, listen. First of all, my daughter in Los Angeles, in reference to the Bush abortion issue, when it was on the CNN website, the Republicans went to CNN and said, if you will take it off your website, we will not charge you when you go over to broadband. They have also told all the other networks and channels, so that Gore said, well, you'll pay for it when you go to broadband. Republicans told them, all the media, that's why Bush has been getting a free ride, that they will not charge them when they transfer to broadband. The other thing is, Neil?
Yeah.
The other thing is, read Maureen Dowd's column yesterday. She's got Bush down perfectly. It is one of the best columns I've ever read, and what's going to happen if Bush gets elected.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Carlos, Joe's favorite, just came in and brought the mail in. Have any conversation in there?
No.
Come on. Loosen up a little bit. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes,
that
sir.
That lady's absolutely right about Maureen Dowd's column.
Didn't see it. Where am I going to find that?
Well, we'll get it over to you.
Okay.
A couple things. If the Senate breaks 50-50, or 50-49, is Lieberman allowed to stay senator? If Gore's elected, can he appoint a vice president?
No, of course not.
He can't?
No.
Okay. So there's no way to Lieberman say, okay, I can choose to go to the Senate?
Absolutely not. Not if he wins.
He's not allowed to resign like Agnew did?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he does have to resign, but at that point, the governor appoints somebody, and it's still up in the air as to how that takes place. They asked him about it again last night, and bada beep, bada boom, he all around the Mulberry Bush. But at least for 2 years, there'd be a Republican in there because the governor would be the one appointing. He's Republican.
Okay.
So Lieberman has stabbed his own party in the back. There is no question about that.
Another point. I'm in the 1%, and in the last 6 years, I probably paid an additional $250,000 in taxes to the United States government.
Right, and in the last 6 years I paid more than that. Yeah.
Conservatively, not the guys who had runaway stock profits.
Right.
Conservatively, what percentage do you think that the economy has given general, people who, of some substance? Is it between 5 and 10% more than they would if they had a bad economy?
Well, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, do you understand my question? Like,
no,
not at all. Do you think because you had a good economy that your funds, etc., would make 5 to 10% more than if they had a bad economy?
Oh, at least, sure.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then you've made your tax burden back, in some cases, double.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, I'm just saying. For instance, I'm giving you, just a general. For the people who are in the 1%.
See, you didn't give your money to Mitch Hirsch like I did. He's not losing your money like it's coming out of a faucet.
The next point, one last point. I read Fudge Brown's. He's packing one hell of a proposal there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, keep losing it, Mitch. Every time I should zig, I zag, and I call him up. But there's inane conversations, and it doesn't help. And by the way, that great website you guys have got set up there over there at First Union, Mitch Hirsch, that's really a knockout. I can't even tell how much money I have anymore. I can't make heads or tails out of that thing. But that's okay, because I probably don't want to know. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello.
Shoot, Neil, what be going on?
Shoot, how you be?
You straight up. Listen, I don't know if you've ever mentioned or if anybody's called you with,
yeah.
with, Jim Hightower. You've heard of Jim Hightower, right?
Jim Hightower?
Yeah, he's a former senator, I think, from Colorado.
What about him?
Democrat. He's the guy that came up with the slogan as Bush and called him the shrub. You know? He's the first one. He's got an incredible tape out
and he talks in detail about Bush, about what you were talking about, the draft, about how he got in ahead of like 10,000 other guys into the National Guard.
Sure.
And how his father claims, I never made a phone call to get him in there, and Bush Jr. claims he never made a phone call, and clearly spells out that they didn't have to make a phone call, that they had plenty of connections and friendly people there to grease the axle to get this guy ahead, and probably killed a few guys because of it.
Well, what makes it even worse though is that this guy disappeared for over a year, and they still lie about it, and all these people are willing to testify that he never showed up for 1 second of that, and he's supposed to be honorable. I mean, this guy's about as honorable as Jesse James.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've got the tape of the speech that he did. It's called Jim Hightower Space Odyssey, Election Odyssey 2000.
Yeah.
I'd love to send it to you. Would it get to you if I put it to your attention? Would you at least... I'll cue it up right where Bush is so you don't have to listen to the whole tape.
Sure.
But I'd really love for you to hear it because, it really changed the mind of like 6 of my neighbors who were going to vote Republican.
It's a cassette?
It's a cassette.
Yeah, it'll get here.
Okay. It's, an alternative radio company, alternativeradio.com or something.
Yeah,
I bought it from them.
Okay.
All right.
I'll look for it.
All the best to you.
Thanks. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Starting to slow down a little bit here now. Too bad. You're slowing down. I'm picking up after that great lunch. Yeah, a little something like that. A little bit of meat. Picks you up real good. You get that energy. Of course, now a banana split with it on, too. Oh, yeah. Doesn't that sound good? See, one thing about when George goes on vacation and I work with Joe for a week, Joe does a great job. The only problem being that I gain 5 pounds every time I work a week with Joe because it's understood ahead of time. Now, tomorrow you're on your own.
That's fine.
Which I noticed that you have no problem. You can handle that just fine. But you're on your own for lunch because Mommy would get very upset. Although, it all depends on how good the stuff is that comes in here. Then I can call her and say I'm sick.
Maybe we can get Mommy to bring food here.
No. Although I'm sure that you would tell a lot of strangers. Talk to a lot of strangers in the hallway. Why does anybody go to Toronto this time of year for anyway? And look, now he's got a head cold. Strangers. Oh, and speaking of strangers washing their cars out there, are we going to ever get anybody to wash the cars out there again? God damn it. This place is so schlock.
I thought we had. Didn't we get a memo that said people were going to be here on Fridays?
Starting when? Since when?
This was weeks ago.
I don't see anybody here on Friday. Nobody's told me anything about it. I got those beautiful new cars, neither of which has been washed once yet. Because the schmucks that were coming to my house on Sunday morning and ripping me off real good for years, they when I went away for the summer, they just kind of went away. Never showed up again, thank God. So I need somebody to do my cars.
Well, we've been running these trade spots with Joseph's personal touch.
I don't know anything about Joseph or his personal touch. I don't.
I'll find out.
Or his magic blanket or whatever that thing was.
The Technicolor Dream.
Right, with Donny Osmond. 20 before 1, and by the way, Donnie, you're a great guy, but we're so tired of hearing about Marie's psychosis, and we're tired of hearing about that.
Hey, Whitney has a pair.
Baseballs, football, soccer balls, basketball.
Do you like to play with balls? Yeah! Your balls feel a little flat sometimes? Yeah! You want to play with good quality balls? Yeah! Then there's only one place for you. Bill's Balls! Yes, Bill's Balls, the home of the best balls in town.
I saw Bill's Balls from the highway, and I just had to stop in. And boy, was I satisfied.
I was so impressed with Bill's Balls, I took my whole family to see him. Balls!
I stopped by Bill's Balls yesterday, and I played with Bill's Balls right there on the spot.
Yes, all that we ask is that you come and see Bill's Balls once. Once you've seen Bill's Balls, you'll never look at balls the same way again. Now, 2 great locations, Quill Springs and Penn Square Mall.
12:45 at 560 WQM. So anyway, Hank tells us that Victor Leibowitz is Steve Lawrence's brother, and Victor is or was the. I think he's dead. I hate to say that. I'm pretty sure on this one. Not positive. I think it's like 6 to 5 in the morning line. But he was the guy that operated the press elevator at Gulfstream Park. Saw him many a time in the old days when I used to go to the Thoroughbreds, which is a long time ago. So Al Goldstein sends me a box, which I thought for sure had to be a birthday gift, right? Wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah.
My birthday coming up on Sunday, and a big, rich, fat Jew like him that was just here yesterday hawking that screwmagazine.com thing again. And I open it up. No, it's not. It's a bunch of stupid videotapes. One is for Midnight Blue, number this, for George, this for George. Why don't you just send it for George? Okay, what's this one? It's got my name on it. Al Goldstein versus Pat Buchanan on CNN's Crossfire. Well, that could be pretty good. 1983. It's a little old, Al, kind of like you. A little outdated. And then yet another copy of this disgusting, the one we just, Schmidt canned over there, Screw Magazine. Oh, God. Like I said, it's all about Al. Like George always says, it's all about Al. George will be back next week if we can get his head removed surgically from Al's rectum ass. 14 to 1 at 560 WQM. Thanks for faxing me the Maureen Dowd column from yesterday. She's great, by the way. She says, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I'm dreaming of that moment when the thrill returns. All those Texas fat cats landing at Reagan Airport wing to jowl in their Learjets. All those monogrammed snakeskin cowboy boots and Neiman Marcus fur coats. All those familiar establishment suits lumbering in to claim their rightful places in the cabinet table. Dick Cheney, the Britney Spears for middle-aged white men, back in the West Wing saddle. Lee Greenwood back at the inaugural. Aerobic golf at Kennebunkport. The horseshoe pit restored outside the Oval. The English language once more under siege by an American president. Happy Halloween. We could be fixing for the big Washington premiere of Book of Shadows, Bush 2. Last week I watched Al Gore growling and fending off Bill Clinton and still struggling to lay claim to his own administration's tumescent economy. And I watched W bristling with confidence, having a good speech in Pittsburgh and cozying up to John McCain and Colin Powell. I had to sit very quietly and absorb the fact that I might be on my way back to the future. Were we on the eve of restoration? Give that Bush, one, self-made Midland businessman, Yale grad and sports enthusiast with a bookish, plain-spoken wife whose project is literacy, was fired by voters when the economy foundered, and given that the Bush name was anathema in the GOP for years, it is surreal that we may be only moments away from Bush 2, self-made Midland businessman, Yale grad and sport enthusiast with a bookish, plain-spoken wife whose project is literacy, who we never see, by the way. The world has been transformed in the last 8 years with cyberspace colonized and the Internet infiltrating every corner of life. And yet, the Republican gang that couldn't shoot straight on the economy is ready for its close-up. Angry white men have become fat, happy white men, and W with his sunny emptiness and a tax plan that will protect the windfalls reaped in the Clinton-Gore years is their guy. Now comes another. What does this say? Oh, antsy. It's not a good copy. Now comes another antsy President Bush who reads sporadically and prefers reports to be delivered orally. It just proves the staying power of the establishment. The insiders simply call themselves outsiders and say they disdain Washington and big government, and then gullible voters send the inside outsiders right back here to make the government bigger, their resumes longer, and their private sector contacts wider for future self-made cashing in. The Capitol has been much duller since the nasty congressional Republicans faded into the background. It was so exhilarating when Newt Gingrich and his helmet-haired henchmen were shutting down the government, eliminating school lunches, cutting Granny's Medicare, impeaching the president, and mocking Barney Frank. We lost sight of Newt's successors, those vivacious valets of viciousness, Trent Lott, Tom DeLay, and Dick Armey, when the Bush campaign hid them in a lockbox. That's why they are. They're in that lockbox. But now we're on the verge of welcoming these bully boys front and center again as they resume ramming their conservative agenda down America's throat. The Hill Republicans have been secretly sniggering at their nominee's blarney, all that chuckle-headed stuff about compassionate conservatism and bridging the partisan gap. Civility is not their preferred special interest, and they think it'll be easy to maneuver the Tyro W, whose schedule could well make Ronald Reagan's schedule look grueling, to be even more generous to pharmaceutical companies, monopolies like Microsoft, big polluters, and big business looking to limit lawsuits. In Bush 2, we'll get to see more of that shrinking violet, Clarence Thomas. As one of President W's favorite justices, and as someone touted by conservatives as a potential Chief Justice in the Bush regime, he'll come into his own. Perhaps the Anita Hill episode won't be the thing Justice Thomas is remembered for. Perhaps overturning Roe v. Wade will. And it'll be so reassuring to have Charlton Heston packing heat. Trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat. Doing slam drop-bys at D.C. restaurants and dinner parties once the NRA opens up the office in the Bush White House it's been bragging about. I'm breathless with anticipation. How about you? How do you like that? You're right. Great column by good old Maureen Dowd. Where the hell is it? Oh, sorry. Well, that's what happens when you got too much crap on the board. Look at that. There's crap all over the place. Thank you so much. Well, that was from Rich Packard, Paul Harvey Jr.'s close past personal friend. Thank you, Rich. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm calling. I heard the scenario. If Bush wins the election, is it true that Bill Clinton can run again after 4 years?
He's not going to run again.
But can he?
Yeah, after he waited another 4 years, sure.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
No chance. Not going to happen. Don't 62 to 1 against in the morning line. Ain't going to happen. Oh, look at this. Here's another one of these letters from, it's an inside job. I think it's from Ray Perry. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a mobile in Cooper City. Hello.
Joe Rose, I fuck them.
Here's a mobile in Pompano. They had the Bluetooth in there. It was okay. Don't have to. Yes, sir.
Question. You had a caller a couple calls ago talking about dodging the draft. I happen to be a Nader supporter. I should disclose it up front. But what is the difference, or is anyone proposing, since I know you are against Bush, I should say, more than for Gore, is anyone proposing that there's a difference that either Clinton and Bush both did whatever they could to get out of serving in Vietnam? There is no question there, right?
Yeah, the point is Clinton isn't running, number one, and number two, Bush is running on being honest, the integrity, the character, and all of this crap. That's what this election is all about. Clinton's not running this time, in case you hadn't noticed that.
Well, there is a conflict. I mean, I'm not for either party.
No, there is not a conflict. Let me say it again. Clinton isn't running. Gore, who enlisted, who didn't have to, who was the son of a rich senator, didn't have to, but he enlisted. But Bush wound up his way into the National Guard and then didn't serve the last year. Disappeared.
I certainly understand, but and there's issues on both sides. On the subject, back on Gore, not to beat him down, but again, you know, whether it's the parodies or whether it's someone actually being articulate on the radio saying Bush is this or that or the other thing, I often feel like yelling into the radio saying there is no difference between either party. Gore is a byproduct of a rich, established Washington family, so is Bush.
So it is absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue. The fact is that George W. Bush he's the henchman. Just like the thing I just read by Maureen Dowd. He's the henchman of the far right-wing fat cats. And yeah, Gore, he's in the pocket of special interest too, but certainly not to the degree that Bush is. There's no comparison. And for you to say that is just a tragic, pathetic rationalization of the fact that next Tuesday you're going to throw away your vote on a man who has no chance, not only no chance of winning the election, but less than no chance of getting 5% nationwide and getting those matching funds. No chance. So you can continue deluding yourself from now until kingdom come. There is no chance that Ralph Nader's getting 5%. This election is between George W. Bush and Albert S. Gore, period. And all the other is just window dressing by a bunch of pseudo-intellectual goofballs who refuse to be honest enough to look at the facts. And the fact is very clear. One of the two I just named will be the next president, period. And if you don't believe there's a difference between Clarence Thomas and a moderate potential Supreme Court justice, then you don't know what you're talking about. And all that crap about, well, Scalia was voted 98-0, including Al Gore. It's not a question of that, because the Senate, unless they find something really totally damning, they generally do that anyway, with the exception of Robert Bork. And by the way, Joe Lieberman says he would have voted to confirm Robert Bork, who's another one of his ex-neighbors in Connecticut. That's got to be their theme song, Victim Owning on the Street Where You Live. That's got to be Joe Lieberman's theme song. Because everybody they bring up to him, oh yeah, we used to be neighbors in Connecticut. Everybody lived on his street. Probably used to throw stale matzah at his house. 5670560, pound 560. Yeah, he would have voted to confirm Robert Bork. That virulent anti-Roe v. Wade lunatic. And, of course, his good buddy Bill Bennett. I mean, this guy's a Democrat like I'm a goddamn raving right-wing Christian. That's how much of a Democrat Joe Lieberman is. And he goes and spears the Democratic Party in the back with that bait-and-switch deal from Connecticut. What the hell is this? Oh, it's from Wayne Arnold, who looks a lot like Elvis on the front of on the birthday card. That choked me up. I guess it's the fat Elvis. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a mobile in Medley. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's two things I want to bring up. I heard yesterday or the day before that nobody could find bumper stickers, or there was very little use of the bumper stickers. I'd just like to let your listeners know on 120 Northeast 125th Street and about 8th Avenue, there's a Gore Lieberman campaign headquarters. I picked up my bumper stickers and my placards to put in the front yard.
Okay.
And also something I think people should think about with George W. Do we want a president like Boris Yeltsin? If George W. happens to fall back into drinking and using, are we going to have a buffoon?
Yeah, but he can't dance like Yeltsin, I'll tell you that right now, right up
Well,
front.
I know. He can probably tie one on like Yeltsin.
But he can only tap dance. Okay, pal, nice going. Thanks
Okay,
for
have
the
a good
info.
day,
And
Neil.
you too. Back to you. 1256 at 560 WQAM.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station. WQAM.com for the world.
Hey, buttheads, it's the 1 to 2 hour.
Emphatically he denied he was venting his mind. He ain't gonna feeling a thing. He ain't gonna feeling a thing. So yeah, yesterday, George pushed you back when he was a kid. It was his favorite thing. George torn it from me. He wants the White House to be all here like a big rich guy. So he can admit he feels like this. Lord Trump was the best time of his life. Oh, that's the way it was. I don't know for the show, but he denied it today. Lord, would you ever get him to say? He might have said anything. Just do it now.
1 o'clock at 560 WQM, Hank Goldberg at 2. We got Jelly on game night at 6 o'clock tonight at the Hard Rock Cafe. 7 o'clock, you got the Islanders here to play the Panthers. Any interest whatsoever? A little bit?
No.
Huh? And Eddie K right after the game. I'll be there with bells on, and leave me alone, okay? I mean, unless you're somebody who's nice. No, seriously, leave me alone. Don't come sucking around, give me a check. And that guy won't be there anyway, that Ron guy. Giving a lot of money, and I guess it makes me sound ungrateful, which I'm not, but I just don't like people that give me money for charities that they don't believe in because they want to suck up with me. I hate that. It makes my skin crawl. That anybody could be such a suck-up that they're willing to write. And, you know, when you got that kind of money, when you're a right-wing Republican and you got that kind of money, I guess it doesn't make that much difference. You can afford to, feed your ego with a check. I don't like it. I hate it. Plus, we're doing pretty good anyway for Planned Parenthood, and we'll get way over $100,000. I'm very confident of that. Here's Deerfield. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? Love your show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just got a quick question. I'm going to vote for Dole because I already understand that, Bush, everything they say they've done, they've over-exaggerated by millions of miles. But anyway, I don't want to play ignorant or anything. I just wanted to ask you a favor if you could clarify what their differences were on their foreign policies, because I caught part of it on, I think it was the second debate they had, and it seemed like Bush was just following suit with everything that Dole had to say, and I didn't really understand it, and I've read a little bit. I still don't really understand it. Please just clarify it for me, and I'm going to hang up and listen to your
Okay, have a great day. Basically what it boils down to is that our NATO allies are having a fit because Bush, in fact, his people had to clarify with NATO. They had to send him a memo saying, well, you misunderstood, and he didn't really mean to say this. They really bring all the American troops home and let the NATO allies fend for themselves over there in Kosovo and in all over Europe. Basically, he doesn't know anything about foreign policy, and his comment was, well, I'll know where Kosovo is if you show me where it is on a map. You're dealing with a lightweight, a man who's got no experience in foreign policy whatsoever. And I'm not going to repeat all the stuff about Gore, because I read that yesterday. About the global warming conference that he headed up in Kyoto, Japan, and all the other experience that he's got in international affairs. Bush is strictly a lightweight. That's a compliment, a lightweight. Even just in the state of Texas, he's a lightweight. Forget about anything beyond that. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
No.
Yes, sir.
I had to rush to the phone because you shocked me a little while ago. How do you think that Clinton can run for a third term?
He can.
A man can only be elected twice for president.
2 consecutive terms.
No, 2 terms, period.
Okay. Well, what difference does it make? It's a moot point.
I know, but to tell people, oh, yeah, well, Clinton can go away for 4 years and come back again, it's impossible.
Oh, sure.
When they changed the Constitution after FDR, you can only serve 2 terms, period.
Yeah.
There's no way it's not consecutive or into any years in between. Once you serve 8 years, you're out for life.
Well, it was good enough for Grover Cleveland, but that was before FDR.
So, who's staying up at night worrying about Bubba back, you can get some fire.
Okay, and listen, maybe you can get a new phone, and I'd love to have Bubba come back. We already took in, remember that song, Bubba Come Back? By Player, I think it was. Bubba Come Back? Don't remember Player? The guy that's on that awful soap opera that George's wife watches. I think she's the only one who watches it in a half hour. In fact, the show is so bad it's only on a half hour. All the other soap operas for years they've been on for an hour. That one's only on for a half hour because there's only one character on there, Ridge. Horrible, ugly guy. He used to be on Player though. Baby Come Back. Bubba Come Back. Okay, whatever you say, sir. I really don't know, and I don't care. And it's a stupid thing to talk about. It's ridiculous and it's silly. And yes, Grover Cleveland did win. He was the 22nd president, and then Benjamin Harrison beat him in the electoral college, even though et cetera, and he was the 23rd. And then Grover Cleveland came back and said, "Gotcha." But that was before they changed the law. But what difference does it make? What's the point? It sounds like Todd Dreck again. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a mobile in Pompano Beach. Hello.
Yes, Neil. I tuned in a little late. I don't know if you heard this or not, but the airhead was making, or the empty suit was making a speech yesterday. Instead of saying resonate, he said renegade. He mentioned that.
The word he said resignate, he kept saying resignate.
I said resignate is what he said.
Yeah.
Instead of saying resonate.
Right.
So I was wondering if anybody else had called him.
Yeah, we had talked about that. At least if nothing else, he's consistent. He's consistently illiterate.
And one more thing, please. Where do these airheads come that really still want to vote for Ralph Nader? How do they even think about that they can possibly even consider voting for this idiot?
Well, it beats the hell out of me. I think they did too much acid in the 60s. Have a great day, sir. Yeah, too many bad mushrooms. And you look at Nader and you see that he's all full of himself and it's a big ego trip for him and he doesn't give a crap about 90% of what the Green Party stands for because most of it is ridiculous anyway and so radical that nobody who's not stoned out of their mind would embrace it. But if you want to go ahead and feed an ego trip and be part of the problem for the next 4 and probably 8 years, go right ahead. Be our guest. You're the one that's going to have to live with your conscience if you can find one. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, I just came back from the Gore Lieberman campaign rally at FAU.
Was Joe Lieberman there?
Big Joe Lieberman speaking himself.
Boy!
It was terrible. They were like 80% of them were over the age of 80, 1 foot in the grave, yelling at the 20 college kids who managed to show up.
Did he mention, how many times did he mention Bill Bennett's name? About 20 or 30 times at least, probably?
Oh, only about 20.
Okay.
He was keeping it moderate today.
Uh-huh.
And they were, the campaign volunteers were throwing bottles of water out to the crowd, knocking the old Jews in the head. Which I would almost find amusing if we didn't need their vote so much,
That's
you know?
correct. We love those old yidlocks, baby, at least until next Tuesday. Okay,
have a good one, Neil.
Thanks for the good news. How's that poll coming, speaking of Joe Lieberman? Is he an asset or a liability to Al Gore? Liability, 132, 47.3%. He makes no difference, 93, 33.3% a third, and an asset, only 54, only 19 1/3%. Believe he's an asset. Most think he's an asshole, and they're right. Thank goodness most people do not vote. The overwhelming majority of people, except for the old Jews he's talking about, don't vote because of the vice presidential candidate. And I don't want to start ruminating about the possibility of him ever becoming president, something happening to Gore and him becoming president, because that would be a real negative for me to be talking about out loud. I'll think about it myself quietly. I won't discuss my feelings out loud. Or as Bill Dreck would say, out loud. Out loud. Whatever happened to Bill Dreck and out loud? Huh? Boy, those were the days, weren't they? Those were the real salad days, as they say.
Whammy! God, it sucks.
Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing? I was just calling to see if you still want to have your car detail.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been doing detailing for 5 years, and I thought maybe you'd give me a chance.
Okay.
What is your address?
Hang on, and Joe will give you all the info. Okay, find out what his story is. Well, what are you looking at me like that for?
No reason.
Because we don't know who he is?
That's right.
And he might come here and potchkey up my car and scratch it all up and stuff like that? Oh, he's gone anyway. He just got hung up on. By me. Well, you're right. You have a valid point. We have to know who the hell these people are. We're not going to just give somebody a chance off the street.
I mean, those Corvettes are damn good looking.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of who it was that was. Oh, yeah. The reason I wasn't having it done here anymore was the previous guys that were doing it here. Those fellas, I mean, those guys, they were screwing up the wheels on there. And now I got the new fancy wheels on there. I don't want those guys dicking with my car. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Is it that difficult to find somebody who does a good job of doing your car? Car wash doesn't exactly require a degree from Yale.
But if you want to do it right, it takes a little bit of time.
Right.
And if you take time, you don't make money.
Well, if they're coming in here, though, they can wash the cars. They got all these big shots in here. You got Matty Bell and John Jarris, Greg Reed, Rolf Lindsay. Did I leave anybody out? Hank?
Phyllis?
Oh. 8 minutes after 1 at 560. See, there's some people here that they don't register in my mind. They're just out of sight, out of mind. Screw Ann. And then, of course, there was always
Roy! Get the best of Neil Rogers 2000.
A benefit for Planned Parenthood.
Just go to a Specs Music Store near you or WQAM.com on the net. The best of Neil 2000 with great hits like...
Tell me the first thing that pops into your mind. What do you think this is?
Homo.
And this?
Lesbo.
Okay, and this one?
Infected Haitian.
How about this?
Bobby Valentine riding a baloney pony.
Oh, those timeless classics. The best of Neil Rogers 2000 from Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Floridians, dumb as dirt.
Tonight on Entertainment Tonight, Governor Bush, why did you outlaw the Buns of Steel workout video in Texas?
I want you to have an ass that you can pass on from one generation to the next.
What?
I want you to have your own ass that you can call your own.
That's tonight on Entertainment Tonight.
He sure resonates real big in here, I'll tell you that. 113 at 560 QAM. Here's a hockey fact.
Oh!
See, and it never dawned on me. And I wasn't even thinking. Roberto Luongo, of course, will be playing against his ex-team tonight. Who do you think the Islanders will be starting in the nets? I'll give you a clue. Number 34. You need another clue? John Van Biza. Yeah, because he's their number one goalie now. Him and Wade Flaherty.
So?
Well, I mean, isn't that set up a little bit of rivalry there?
Yeah,
Roberto Luongo, huh?
Nobody cares.
And, of course, you got Mark Parrish and Oleg Kavasha, Oleg Cassini, who are playing pretty good for them against us with our, Oli Jokinen and Roberto Luongo, huh? Well, the fact says, here's some hockey interest. The Islanders will kick the Schmidt out of the punchless pussies, the Florida Panthers. The Islanders are on a 3-game winning streak and will make the playoffs this year. Is Bister. Oh, yeah, I like him. And he can play good, too. Solid goaltending. Now, why doesn't he mention the Geezer and Wade Flaherty? He doesn't mention Beezer's name. I guess too embarrassed. Kenny Janssen, ex-Leaf, are making the Islanders up-and-comers. The Panthers are pathetic, and who'd have thought the big trade was made with the Islanders? It would be Terry Murphy, who effed up the Panthers, who are getting the Schmidt end of the hockey stick. Murray boys are proven losers, it says here, and of course we all know he's got a good point. So there you go. I don't know. Panthers have definitely picked it up the last 3 or 4 games, and last 3 games. Jersey game, Ottawa game, and then the New Jersey game the other night, which they blew, but at least they played with a little more intensity. They can just keep the big Schwarzer out of the penalty box. You see, the problem is they're complaining about the bad calls, which they did get a couple of bad calls, but in sports, your reputation precedes you. And based on all the cross-checking and the rabbit punches in the back of guys' heads and the crap that this guy was doing last year, all year long, Worrell, now that's the reputation he's got. So if he comes near anybody and the guy takes a dive, he's going to get called. You create your own reputation, and then you have to pay the price for it. Every home game last year, every time you'd watch him, especially behind the play, he's giving guys rabbit punches in the back of the head. He's cross-checking guys. He's tripping and hooking guys, and usually getting away with it. Well, guess what? This year, they're getting away with it? No. So you can cry all you want to about bad calls, but you got to go out there and play the game. You got to go out there and overcome all of these things. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
We're going crazy over here.
Yeah.
Talk about bad calls. I'm putting you back on at 1 o'clock after the stock doctor.
Yeah.
We got this lady and this guy on now. They're doctors talking about erection problems. And a caller just called up while you were on, I was on hold. And, he was talking about you. He thought, he was going to get Neil or whatever.
and they said that you're really not a solution to the problems that we have. You're just basically a commentary with some sarcasm, and once we get to know them, we're going to like them. And I just like to know what are the bees
What are you
doing.
talking about? They're on at 1 o'clock?
They're on now, the third hour, the 1 to 2, is now some guy and a girl talking about our sexual problems.
You have to be kidding me.
I wouldn't kid you about that, man. We lost you.
So in other words, they're doing everything they can to get us off. Oh, and you know why?
Why?
Probably, especially, maybe it's only a 1 week thing. Right before the election, they wanted me to get me off the air.
Ah.
Yeah.
And she's saying it's going to be the West Coast against the East. I think there's, syndicated or whatever somewhere, but she is daffy, and I can't believe what they're doing to us.
Nice going. Okay, well, good luck, sir. Hang in there.
Sorry, Neil.
Thanks for the bad news. No, I'm not. I'm doing my best.
Oh, my God.
Doing the best I can, and what the Beasleys do over there, let them lose their souls. What's that stock doing, huh? 1 moment, please. Oh, 8 and 1/32. Woo! It's hovering just a hair above $8. 8 and 1/32. One teeny tiny, like Maria Bartiromo says. And I'm going to say it again. CNBC is no different from those touts that they have on Sunday morning with the football, with the 800 numbers. It's going to give you the overs, the unders, the 18 million winners, all this other crap. No different. That's all they are, a bunch of touts on CNBC. All these fakers they bring on there. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. I have a bit of a problem. My lesbian sister,
What is
who wants to become a gynecologist.
Yeah, huh? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a mobile in Naples. Hello. Mobile in Naples. Okay, nice talking to you too. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil McConvert. I didn't really listen to your show too often, but the more I've listened to it, the more entertaining it's become to me. And I was on one of the other radio stations, .com today, and I always felt pretty good about Al Gore's chances.
Yeah.
After listening to some of your shows and some of the callers that agreed with you. But on one of the polls, I guess, this morning, they had listed a children's, kids under the age of 18 voted in the state of Washington. Who they like in the race.
They have a whole bunch of those. They had a Nickelodeon one, and you got to remember that all those polls were done on the internet, and every time. Sir, are you listening to me?
This poll, I guess, over the last 11 years has predicted the presidency 10 times.
Well, that and 40 cents will buy about a half a cup of coffee. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I still have my one vote for Gore, but I feel less enthused about it.
It'll make you feel a little bit better. The latest MSNBC tracking poll shows Gore 12 points ahead in Florida.
That does make me feel better. How about Bush's airport tour through Florida this week? It's coming up. Stay while he's flying in. What happened to the good old days of railroad and cross?
Yeah, okay, pal. Okay, listen, go sober up and call us so when it's all over, okay? Woo! Man, talk about hitting a brick wall, baby. 16,000 open lines. We got 40 minutes to go here. The election's only 6 days away, and the guy that called early in the show was talking about the callers. God, are you right on target, sir? God bless you. Man, more and more incoherent. And these are the ones that are going to go pull that lever like the guy in the paper says. They're going to go pull the lever. They haven't been pulling the lever for how many years now? Since somebody dropped the Lever Brothers soap? The letters to the editor and Sun Sentinel, they are particularly and predictably hostile, most of them, after their endorsement of Al Gore for president. Newspaper bias, says Georgia and Smythe of Homestead. I was about to cancel another newspaper in favor of the Sun Sentinel, she says. First of all, I don't think they deliver the Sun Sentinel in Homestead anyway. Maybe they do, but I doubt it. Too bad you made the liberal mistake of endorsing Gore for president. For you to endorse an immoral, arrogant man is poor judgment, yada, yada, yada. If there ever were a fair, unbiased newspaper in South Florida, the two dominant newspapers would certainly fail, says George Ann Smythe in Homestead. She was just on the edge, just like my good old buddy, the mailman Rick, was just about to turn the station there years and years ago, over there at the post office. They had their fingers on the knob, right there on Nob Hill Road. They were just about to turn it. Did they turn it? No. No, I see him every day, good old Rick. He's still listening. Jerry Farquhar of Lighthouse Point says, you do not publish a news organ, you're a promotion element for the liberal left. How do you like that? A news service would publish who, what, where, and when, and spell the names right, then allow an enlightened electorate to decide. To endorse Al Gore cements the conclusion that you're heavily biased, yada, yada, yada. Of course, I guess all the newspapers that endorse George W., they must be right down the middle. Am I correct? Did I get it right?
Uh-huh.
Endorsement of joke says Joe Dombrowski of Davie. Wonder if he's related to Dave. You think so?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wouldn't that be embarrassing? Find out that Dave Dombrowski, the GM of the Marlins, was some kind of a right-wing goofball. That would be pretty embarrassing, wouldn't it? It says your endorsement of Al Gore is a joke. Not as much of a joke as the Marlins, but a joke. You would have endorsed anyone on a Democratic ticket. The mark of a good executive is qualified people around him. Obviously, you don't, and neither does Gore. Good people around him like Trent Lott and Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and Gary Bauer and Papa Bauer. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Did you see all the stuff yesterday on Nader? Was yesterday Nader Day or what?
Yesterday was officially Nader Day. It's on my calendar, yes.
Yeah, I mean...
it's Arab American Day and it's Ralph Nader Day.
Yeah, if I didn't know better, I would think the media is trying to prop Nader up just to start to take votes away from Gore or something.
Well, it's not working because he's dropping like a rock. He's down to 2 and 3%.
Well, thank God for that. And all these people who are going to vote Nader, I just don't... I like Ralph Nader. I think he's done a good job for the country as an advocate.
Yeah, I don't like him anymore, though, because it's obvious that the ego is getting in the way of his brain.
Exactly. You're right. And I think that the Green Party is going to suffer from this. If he turns around and takes away from Gore in this election and Bush gets in and we have to suffer for the next 4 years with Bush, I think the Green Party is going to suffer. And I think that those people in the Nader Party or the Green Party who are saying, oh, there's no difference, and I heard Nader say last night that Bush is the same as Gore, and if you get George W., you're going to get George Sr. again. It's going to be the same deal. It's not the same deal. This guy is a bigger dumbass than anybody that's been there since Gerald Ford. At least his father was an ex-CIA guy and knew what the hell he was doing to some degree, even though he was a money grubber.
And don't forget about the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderbergers and the Illuminati. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying that George W. doesn't have any idea what he's doing, and it's going to be more disastrous than his dad was.
Well, look, what it comes down to is this. How is it possible? Here we are, it's 6 days before the election. And I keep asking myself, as recently as yesterday, this man was making illiterate statements in a speech that he was making on a campaign stump. The man is clearly illiterate. To say that he's not up to the job is the understatement of the history of mankind. And yet we've got a neck and neck race, and you've got millions of people out there who like dumb. For the life of me, I don't understand.
You're right. He's got great promotion, and the people in the Nader camp should go out there and start checking out some of the information by Paul Begala's book and so forth.
And I'm going to tell you where the Gore people shot themselves in the feet when they decided to do this strategy of going real easy and not being the attack dogs and not really going after him. That's where they really blew it big time.
You're probably right, man.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Vote 3 times.
Bye.
Okay, bye. That's what Tony Orlando said. Vote 3 times. Remember that song? Vote 3 times. Huh? Boy, do I despise Tony Orlando. You know he became a born-again crazy person? Yeah. That would be a good poll question. Who's crazier? Him or Cat Stevens? See, they should have learned from John Lennon when you too many bad drugs, too many mysterious drugs, and got too many Maharishis and doing all that crap, starts affecting what used to be a brain. God, even Dennis Leary could have told him that. 26 after 1 at 560 WQAM. Don't start with those goddamn drug people, okay? And maybe that's why Steve Allen died, because he put Lenny Bruce on the air. Napster and company reached deal users to pay a fee. Did you see this? Yeah. It was just inevitable. It had to happen. Because in order for Napster to continue doing their thing, somebody was going to have to get paid royalties. So all you punks out there, all you kids that think that you can still keep downloading for free, guess what? Okay? Wrong. It's just a matter of time. People make music, they want to get paid royalties for it. People make movies, they want to get paid royalties for it. Yes?
There are dozens of other things like Napster. Does that mention anything that all those other ones will be shut down or have to comply? Or
no.
anything?
But that's a pretty interesting precedent, though, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. And those other thieves, they're all going to wind up in jail together. In fact, if they get caught in Texas, they're all going to get the needle together. That's right. Especially if their lawyer sleeps through the trial. 26 after 1 at 560 WQ.
This station stands for nothing.
Even the problem is you're not talking to your son. You barely say 2 words to him, then you call me.
1 full hour of the hottest talk on radio. The doctor is in.
Masturbate, okay?
Okay.
All right, masturbate and call me back in a couple of weeks.
Dr. Visco.
Hello, you're on the air with Dr. Visco, and how may I help?
Dr. Visco?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, listen, I'm in a lot of pain.
Sure.
I'm bleeding.
Sure.
My arm is bleeding.
Sure.
And,
I am not that kind of doctor. Are you familiar with Dr. Dean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should be calling Dr. Dean's show. He could help you out with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So do that. And listen, while you're on hold, masturbate.
Okay.
Alrighty?
Dr. Visco, weekdays at noon.
Yeah, I think that's the show they got on Fort Myers now between 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The Whack It While You Work show. Something like that. Yeah, I figured that they would put that on there a week before the presidential election. I cry foul is what I'm crying. That's right. That's what it is. It's a goddamn right-wing plot by the goddamn Beasleys. I hope their stock goes down to 5 just to teach them a lesson or two, those right-wing goofballs over there. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Okay.
Check this out. I just thought I'd give you a call. I was down in Hollywood here with my wife.
Yes?
Going to the medical center, which is just full of old people waiting to
die. Yeah.
And
let me ask you, is Bob Hope there by any chance?
I didn't see Bob Hope here.
Okay.
Joe Lieberman croaked at this hospital.
Right, I know that. I was going to ask about him next.
No, I didn't see him. So I'm getting a cup of coffee with my daughter, waiting for my wife to get seen by the doctor. I hear this old man with a cane spewing to his daughter. Now Gore's for bigger government, and Bush wants to reduce the government.
Oh, my God.
The military, just spewing the right-wing crap
Yeah.
that I've been hearing from people. And, like, I'm sitting there trying to take it easy, and I'm trying, and he's just going on and on. And he said something about Al Gore. I couldn't even remember what it was. I was just incensed. And I turned to him and I go, you know what? That's not true. And then him and his daughter look at me and they go, what do you mean? And I go, listen, you need to go to getthefacts.com. You need to go to an independent site that shows you both platforms. So at first he was real friendly. Oh, what is the site? What is the site? And so I told him, so I told him this is Bush and Gore, what I think. And he goes, oh, you're a Democrat, aren't you? And I go, no, I actually was a registered Republican, but, I just can't agree with the ethics. He goes, who'd you vote for in the last election? I go, Clinton. He goes, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Right? And I go, listen, I look him in the face, and I'm really sick of these freaking people. I go, look, Clinton is a great president. He'll go down in the history books as a great president. What are you mad about? Because he's screwing around in the White House? You know, I go, the thing you gotta understand, he goes, okay, well, thank you for stopping by anyway, goodbye, thank you. And he, dismisses me. So I look at him and I go, listen, I'm sorry I confused you with the facts, and I smiled and I walked away. It was just nauseating.
He's probably dead by now anyway.
I love you, Neil. You are it, man.
See you Tuesday.
Later.
Okay. See y'all next Tuesday, boy, early and often, over and over and over again. Just going to keep going, like a revolving door, like our sales department, like a revolving door in the bank. Just keep coming in and go out the back door and come in the front door. Keep voting over until they finally catch on. And then it's too late. By then we got like 25 million votes in there. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Neil? I got an update for you.
Yes, sir?
I'm in Boca Raton leaving the Florida Atlantic University. I believe Lieberman's over here giving a speech. They have a rally going on.
Yeah, Joe Lieberman was there.
Yeah, and I'm leaving. All the supporters for Gore and Lieberman are inside. And outside by the Glades exit, I got a bunch of Bush Cheney numbnuts out there. And they're blocking my car. I can't even leave. I wish I had one of those Ford Explorers so I could tip it over on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the man, and I just want you to know, go Gore, even though he's gay.
Oh, brother. It's amazing how many times this kid can manage to do it every day without, having it just fall off. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, we might as well forget that out of town line now. They're just dissecting. What kind of programming is that? We're on from 10 to 11, or whatever, from 10 to noon. Then they got the stock show at noon. And then at 1 o'clock they got some Maple Leaf syndicated squirt show.
Only on Wednesday.
Oh, only on Wednesday. That's even better programming. Brilliant going over there in Fort Myers, whoever the PD over there is. Man, we're going to have to start reading some of those Beasley and jail stories on the air again to get them straightened out. Yeah. Which one is it this week? Here's a lady in Del Rey. Hello. Lady in Del Rey. She's gone? What a bitch. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know, if the Nader people were really serious about this thing, they would start their party in the off-year elections and start a real party, not just run for president.
Absolutely correct.
He's totally, totally bogus.
I mean, Nader even himself admitted they've only got a handful of Green Party candidates on the ballot anywhere in the country, just a very small handful, which I'm sure is what he's got, and that's it.
And also, if George Bush gets elected, it's going to be another shadow presidency, just like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
You're going to have people like William Casey running the CIA. You're going to have the whole government.
William Casey, huh?
You right?
They bring him back?
Oh, from the dead. Just like.
I think Vince Foster's coming back too. Okay, thanks for the good news. Whatever you said. Now, William Casey, we know he's not coming back. He's real dead. In fact, he died. All of a sudden, he got like an instant tumor in his head and died, kind of like Jack Ruby. Yeah. Kind of like Dorothy Kilgallen, who just died, had that mysterious accident and died just before she was going to interview Jack Ruby. And then Jack Ruby went to bed feeling fine one night, woke up with a bad tumor and died like in about 2 days from cancer. All these mysterious things that happen. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
You know, the one thing that seems to be constant that when I speak to people that support Bush, or I overhear other people's conversations, and you ask them why they're going to vote for Bush, and they always say over and over, well, Al Gore, you know, he exaggerates, he lies, you can't trust him. Since when, I mean, where did this idea come from that George W. is representative of honesty and integrity, and where did that come from?
A big part of that is because the media's let him off the hook on almost everything he said, from his military service.
Right, he disappears for a year.
To the thing he said about the patients' rights bill in Texas, which is a flagrant lie, and all this baloney about he works together nonpartisan. He's the one that vetoed that bill, and then the legislature passed it over his veto, and he let it go into law without signing it. The same thing about the hate crimes bill. He lied about that during the first debate. So when W lies, the media just looks the other way because the expectation is he's dumb and stupid, doesn't know what he's talking about. But if Gore exaggerates about something or starts fantasizing and exaggerating a little about something that may have actually happened, then right away they have to make a big deal out of it to turn him into a liar. Very suspect at best.
Yeah, it's, I don't understand the double standard, but anyway, I hear you say Steve Allen died?
He's still dead, yeah.
When did that happen?
Yesterday. You didn't hear that?
Oh, he was, and after all that censoring he was trying to do, I guess that's a sign from God.
There you go. I think God was starting to get a little pissed off.
And remember, lick Bush and beat Dick in 2000.
Okay. There you go. Slogan everybody can relate to. That punk that called before I think was in the process. At least part of that. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I feel like incomplete here. I feel like we're missing something. Like dessert. Oh, that's what it was. I was going to tell you about the time we had banana splits. I think George was working back then. It may have preceded him. I don't think so. There's a drugstore down at the corner of Red Road and Bird Road in Miami. South Miami. It's a very famous, I can't think of the name of it. Because this is from ages ago. It may not even be there anymore. And it's a drugstore that's got the old-time soda fountain there, where they make, like, you know, real sodas and stuff like that, and real banana splits. And so it was the same kind of thing, and I challenged them to come in and make it on the air, and they did. They came in, they brought all the ingredients, they brought the tubs of ice cream and the bananas and the cherries, and made a banana split right there on the air. Oh, God. To die for. Huh? It does sound great, but it's not going to be happening again, Joe. Friday. No, it will not be happening again.
Why not?
Because I'm a diabetic old fart, that's why, and I don't need to be getting my blood sugar up to 600 here in the middle of the show. Maybe at 2 o'clock.
It's a fallacy anyway.
It's a fallacy what? About blood sugar?
Yeah,
Just remember, you heard it from Dr. Joe Mama. It's all a fallacy anyway. As they amputate my leg from the knee down, oh, Neil, it was just a fantasy anyway. That must have been from the fall you had in Amsterdam. It wasn't that diabetes. It wasn't your blood sugar getting up to 650 from those banana splits. Boy, you are a chazer, man. You are unbelievable. I know they're paying you like $2 an hour, but get serious.
Decriminalize pot in Florida. Now, from Washington, the McLaughlin Group, featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Jamond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York Giant Tiki Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin.
Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Javon.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say the vault.
Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swelling off.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Javon.
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say right.
Not a choice, Ricky Tiki Barber.
You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice.
Wrong! Correct response, Cats. He loves them. Next issue, the cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor.
Guillotine.
Wrong, Jack Javon.
Dynamite.
Wrong, Tiki Barber.
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong. Actual answer, poison pudding. Bye-bye.
Bye.
145 at 560 WQM. Here's a great article by Michael J. Fox in the New York Times. A crucial election for medical research. As a Parkinson's disease patient and a new American citizen, I look forward to Election Day as something momentous. It's not just the first presidential race in which I can vote. I was born in Canada. The outcome is likely to have a dramatic bearing on my prognosis and that of millions of Americans whose lives have been touched by Parkinson's, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, spinal cord injury, Huntington's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and other devastating illnesses. And that's because one question that may be decided on Tuesday is whether stem cell research, which holds the best hope of a cure for such diseases, will be permitted to go forward. Campaign aides to George W. Bush, who has not publicly addressed the issue, stated on several occasions that a Bush administration would overturn current NIH, National Institutes of Health guidelines, and ban federal funding for stem cell research. Why? Because the research, which uses human embryos discarded from fertility clinics, has become enmeshed in the politics of abortion. Mr. Bush favors a ban on stem cell research, one aide said, because of his pro-life views. Yet stem cell research has nothing to do with abortion. It's not the same as fetal tissue research, the federal funding of which was banned by Presidents Reagan and Bush, but has since been authorized by Congress. Stem cell work uses undifferentiated cells extracted from embryos just a few days old, embryos produced during in vitro fertilization, a process that creates many more fertilized eggs than are implanted in the wombs of women trying to become pregnant. Currently, more than 100,000 embryos are frozen in storage. Most of these microscopic clumps of cells are destined to be destroyed, ending any potential for life. The potential for saving lives, however, may be unlimited. Given the proper signal or environment, stem cells transplanted into human tissue can be induced to develop into brain, heart, skin, bone marrow cells, indeed any specialized cells. The scientific research community believes that the transplanted stem cells may be able to regenerate dead or dying human tissue, reversing the progress of disease. According to CURE, a coalition of 28 groups representing patients with cancer, Parkinson's, paralysis, and other maladies, no research in recent history has offered as much hope for cures. Support for stem cell research doesn't just come from pro-choice Democrats like Al Gore, but also from Republicans who have concluded, in the words of former Senator Bob Dole, that supporting such research is the pro-life position to take. The list includes Republican senators like Strom Thurmond of South Carolina, John McCain of Arizona, Connie Mack of Florida, and Pete Domenici of New Mexico. Even Senator Gordon Smith of Oregon, who the National Right to Life Committee says voted the right way on abortion every time last year, supports the research. His family has experience with the ravages of Parkinson's disease, and he has concluded, part of my pro-life ethic is to make life better for the living. This is the real compassionate conservatism. One hopes that between now and next Tuesday, Mr. Bush will explain to those of us with debilitating diseases, indeed to all of us, why it is more pro-life to throw away stem cells than to put them to work saving lives. Says Michael J. Fox, good Canadian boy, now turned American, who's going to vote next Tuesday, and I guarantee you, he ain't going to be voting for Bush. Here's a lady in Delray Beach. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Listen, Neil, I don't know what to say here. I'm on the air, right?
It sounds like you, yes.
Yeah, it sounds like me. Listen, Neil, I have a very, I just listened to that last blurb there about Mr. Fox, et cetera, over here. I've got a very unusual medical situation where I have, quote-unquote here, broken my neck. I have TMJ. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
All right, I have it so severe, don't ask how I'm speaking to you.
Yeah.
This hurts to hold the phone to my head. I read with great interest an article about you by Mr. Chica in the newspaper the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, all of your good work that you have done for various groups and organizations. However, I have a very bizarre situation here where I have been consistently denied medical attention and have been thought to have psychiatric problems due to the broken neck.
Well, my best suggestion is call up Mr. Jick at the Sun Sentinel. I'm sure that he can probably hook you up with the right people. Here's a Lady Mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hi, yeah, how are you doing?
Okay.
Me too. I also go to SAU, so it is crazy with these Bush and Cheney people. But I want to say I can't believe how stupid some of these people actually are to actually think about voting for Bush. Did you notice, like during all the debates, how we had that nervous tick thing with his lip?
Not to mention, of course, the fact that he kept sniffling all the time with those bad nasal passages that seem to be worn away. Yeah, like that?
I think it's like the worst decision. He has like no experience and when he was talking about the gay rights and stuff like that, and he was saying that he would tolerate them.
Yeah.
What does that say to you?
Which is an absolute lie, because the article I read this morning from Molly Ivins pointed out that the reason that he refused, and the Republicans with him in Texas refused to pass that hate crimes bill, was because it included rights for gays and lesbians, which they were adamantly opposed to.
I think, I think the worst part of it is that when you're watching something like that, like a debate, and you kind of have your choice already, that you watch like something like Bush, and it's like, you see how sometimes certain things that he says are so human-like, like people can be like, oh wow, that's kind of nice, but then he puts all these other little things in that are, people just don't get it.
Well, he doesn't respond to any of the questions. He doesn't talk substance. All he talks about is generalities about Washington insiders and about helping, doing things in a bipartisan way. He just uses the same half dozen glittering generalities. All of it's pre-written for him. He hasn't got an idea in his mind.
I agree. And the best out of all the debates was when that black guy, the older man, said something about he seemed really excited about killing people.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best.
Well, the only problem was that when Gore had an opportunity to respond to that, he failed to point out, because he's so terrified that people might think he's against capital punishment, which is not politically correct, but he failed to point out all the people in Texas whose defense attorneys were sleeping during their trials, and the mentally retarded people who were executed in Texas under Governor Bush. That's what he should have done. That's one of the reasons that Gore's life and death to try to win this.
I agree. And do you really think with Lieberman, what do you think would happen if he had kind of like a so-so kind of person for Gore? Do you think Gore would be like a total landslide right now of winning?
Believe me.
Or do you think he'd still be where he is?
He's got a real so-so guy. Believe me, that's Lieberman. That's the best I can say for him.
No, but I mean without the Jewish part.
I don't think the Jewish part, obviously it's got some quiet impact that you're not going to ever know about, but the fact is he's awful. He's a terrible candidate.
Yeah, and you know what I wonder is if...
That was great. That was beautiful. After all of that, to go through that whole thing. Our poll today is Joe Lieberman, an asset or liability to Al Gore. Liability 157. He makes no difference 105. Asset 65. How do you like that? Asset 65. Asshole all the rest. What they're really saying is, he's an asshole. Just like you, honey. That was really brilliant. They really must do a great job of educating the FA and you. 157 at 560 WQA.